Ready to the town board meeting in the town of Queens. Convene this meeting right now. If we you join me for the pledge. We'll get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. We have a couple of public announcements. Cheryl, if you just make a note that all board members are in attendance. On the 10th, we are going to, RCS is going to have K through 12 early dismissal. And on the 13th is Indigenous Peoples Day, and all town offices will be closed.
On this day?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so everyone had a chance to review their minutes from September 25th. And I'll make a motion to accept the minutes into the record.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting minutes are accepted. And that takes us right to old business. We have a Verkada proposal. They're a security company, and a presentation for us. If you want to step to the lectern. I know you had a PowerPoint, but we don't have the capability.
Yeah, all good. Hi everybody, my name is Rahul Savant. I'm an account executive here at Verkada. I manage all of our state, local, and education partnerships from Albany all the way up to Plattsburgh, Malone, Peru area. So pleasure to be here today. I've been working with Mr. Donnelly and Mr. Fazio for the last few months to discuss security for the new town hall building. So I've been working with Andrew here from Adirondack Stable and Security to put together a proposal for you all. Andrew, I hand those out to them, and then we can get right into it. So just to tell you guys as well, just to tell you all as well, we work with RCS School District as well. We have a few cameras up within the school, and the Director of Facilities is happy to be a reference as well. We've been doing good work with them. So just to tell you guys right now, what we're looking to do is add cameras and access control to the interior and exterior of the new town hall building. Typically what I'd like to do right now is show you a demonstration of the platform, but I know that we don't have anywhere to present at this point. But as you can see on the third page, we have a floor plan. It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we have a floor plan and layout for what the proposed solution would be. So all the entryways and doorways for folks to enter in would be via access control. So that would be requiring badge, key fob, anything like that to enter. And then the cameras in the interior and the exterior of the building are meant to keep the folks in areas that they're supposed to be right now. So one thing that I want to call out is that we are a hybrid cloud model. So what that means is that basically everything that's going to be stored on the cameras will be 30-day retention, and then the rest of the information will then get backed up to the cloud. And so what that allows us to do is run a lot of analytics and basically protect the individuals inside. So for example, if an individual that we know has been a repeat offender in the past, we can upload their information into the Verkada platform, and then we'll get proactive alerts. So before it even happens, we're essentially keeping everyone in the building safe. And then with the access control portion of it as well, at a single click of a button, we can lock down every single door and ensure that no one can enter the building, keeping all threats out. So at a high level, we can also integrate with the police department as well. I've been speaking with Chief Tryon for getting the police department into Verkada as well. But for now, right now, what we're discussing is obviously the town hall, just overall improving the security of the building as well. So happy to answer any questions right now that you guys may have. Feel free to take a peek at the proposal while we wait here.
Yeah, I've reviewed it. I don't have any further questions.
Yeah, you've seen the platform a ton of times, Mr. Donnelly.
I don't have any questions for you per se, but for the supervisor. So currently we have cameras installed at the 9W property, right?
Yeah, on the exterior.
And that was at the recommendation of Chief Tryon.
Right. DeBulk, I think that company is.
So my question is, how did this now come up? Is this just like, did you reach out to Verkada? Did Verkada reach out to you?
They reached out to us, and we're going to take quotes. Probably get 3 quotes, one from DeBulk, one from Verkada, and another one. because it seems like it may be an expensive affair, so we may have to, according to the procurement policy, get 2 or 3 quotes. So that's how we're moving forward with it.
And is this a requirement that, or is this a recommendation that was made by the engineering firm? Or is this just something that you're thinking about?
Well, it's recommended as they're doing construction, when they get to a certain point, we're going to need to have IT, phones, printers, security, everything done, basically planned out along with everything that comes with the new offices, including.
Excuse me, we can't hear you here. I'm sure they can't hear you back there.
No, we can't.
Pull that open, please.
Yes, when we move into the Newtown offices, we're going to have IT and phones and security. So Councilperson Smith's question is, why are we taking quotes, I think? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, when we've already, we never discussed this. Like, we talked about getting cameras for the 9W property. We got cameras for the 9W property outside. So I was just curious as to how this came about.
So Councilperson Smith is curious about how this came about, that Verkada is here presenting their security to our Newtown offices. And the purpose for that is when the project is being moving forward to construction phases, right now they're in demolition phase. When they get to the part where they start to put walls and partitions up, wiring is going to need to be done, phone lines, electrical outlets, all of those things that you would imagine go into construction of town offices and municipal offices. So to answer that question, that's how we're moving forward. We're following the process that is recommended by our architect and our engineers.
But you as Verkada don't run wires and.
No. So my name is Andrew Castrantis. I'm with Adirondack Cable and Security. We are a Verkada partner. We've been in business since 1982. We are located and headquartered in Boston Lake. So we've been serving the Capital Region and beyond. We started as a structured cabling company, so running data cables, fiber optic, backbone networks. And around 2009, we started doing physical security. So adding video surveillance, physical access control. And again, we represent the best of the best in class. Verkada being one of them and one of our top partners. So we've worked together to be able to put together a solution that the town has shown that they have an interest in. And we've come and we've walked the site and we've gone through and we've taken the recommendations of where you're looking to secure spaces within your office to keep it secure. Make sure it's a town employee that has access to a building at a certain time and being able to keep the public out unless somebody, allows them to come through the building into those areas you want to keep secure and protected. And again, as it was stated, we're going to use video surveillance. With the cloud solution, the analytics that are available today, you can protect your property and your personnel, with the advanced analytics that they have. With, again, being able to upload, pictures and profiles, and you can find out if there's a car in your parking lot late at night. You can determine if there's a person that vandalism is occurring. It's just to protect your property and the assets of the town.
So one thing that I quickly want to call out is that when you look on the front page, there's going to be a license associated with the hardware itself. So in that licensing, you are getting a few different things. So number one, you're going to get a 10-year product warranty. So if on year 9, day 364, hour 23, if any of your cameras have either been tampered with or there's water damage, we'll drop ship you a camera free of cost within 2 days because we understand how important it is to have your cameras up and running. Next is we have unlimited users. So if all of you want access to the platform, we can do so. It's not licensed per user. Yourself, the chief of police, the fire department, if they need access to the cameras, we'll be able to provide them within their user base. Next is that we have free software updates. So because we're cloud-based, our customers from day one and our newest ones all receive the same product features on the same date, free of cost, all baked into your licensing. And then last but not least is we have a 24/7 technical support team, US based, not some AI folks in China. So sit next to me in our New York City office, and they'll be able to support about 90% of any issues that you may have to troubleshoot. That other 10% lives in that 10-year product warranty. So obviously, like with the license costs, you're going to be paying for cloud storage. So in your traditional system, we are going to be a more premium product, but what you get out of that is just a lot more functionality, a lot more security overall within your building as well.
And us as the integrator at Adirondack, we offer very similar service. We have, a technical support team that's also available to us 24/7. We can be the point of contact, as in Verkada can be as well.
Mhm.
We're within 40 minutes of your town hall here, and we can respond, if need to be on site. Most things, well over 90% of our service calls can be resolved remotely by an engineer with remote access. And again, if we need to roll a truck, we do have the ability to do that. Certainly, we have service fees associated, or we could work out, if you had an interest in a maintenance contract, to be able to reduce those hours or bake in a certain amount of hours to support you on a yearly or multi-year basis.
And Andrew, I would like for you to speak on this, the state term contracts that you guys are on, so
Yeah.
everything comes in transparency
So,
here.
I don't know the purchasing or procurement processes of your town. We are a New York State licensed and on a New York State OGS contract. Every entity looks at it a little bit differently. On New York State OGS contract, that is considered, it's already been bidded work to government agencies. We will guarantee to be at that price or lower. So if we right now have it in submittal to the state to have Verkada added. It is a 390,000 line item state contract. It takes a long time to process. But if this is something you guys want to move forward with, I would just need an email from a decision maker within the town to send state OGS, say, we want to work with Adirondack and we want this product on their contract. They will respond within a week to say, it's on there, you can purchase through that purchasing vehicle.
And last but not least, if you guys are ever interested in actually looking at the platform, they have a trial camera up and running right now in the, what's the office called down? The building assessor's office. So you have like one trial camera so you can see what it looks like, what all the analytics and people and vehicle analytics look like as well. So appreciate your time. Happy to answer any questions that you may have right now regarding anything about the platform, the product. Andrew's happy to answer any questions about installation services as well.
So this price is you two combined. It's Verkada and Adirondack Cable working together.
Basically, so yes, they're the manufacturer. We're getting the product from them. We are putting it all together.
Okay.
We'll program, configure, commission. There will be end user training and ongoing support from there for you. I also want to point out a couple line items as there are some options there for you. I think from when we originally walked this, the new town hall, I think we were looking at securing more doors than what you're looking at today, and I think it was because of the budget. With that said, if you feel that that's only going to be your need today, that's a good price. I also offered you an option to go to a larger door controller to possibly secure 10 or 12 doors in the future if you'd like to do that. It is less cost now to buy that hardware and install it as it costs just as much to put a panel in and program and commission it, no matter what the size is. But if you were to go down the road and say, I need to add those additional doors, there's going to be new hardware, new install, new program and commissioning goes along with it. So there is a line item if you guys want to prepare yourself for the future. There's also a line item in there. I know you guys have contracted with AOW Group for, I believe, the new installation. We have also carried a line item to offer you the cabling. And the reason that we've done that is it's level of effort. If a cable takes 2 hours to run from end to end of a building, for a data cable, for a security cable that's going to the same place, or a camera cable, you can pay one contractor to do the data and another to do the security, or you could pay one person to do it, and I can pull 3 cables at the same time. So that's why I also offer that as a line item as is within our core competencies, and it can be a cost savings overall to the town.
Makes sense.
Any
Any
other
further
questions?
questions?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, awesome. Feel free to reach out to me at any point if you have any questions.
You guys have cards?
I'm sure he
I have
does.
cards and my contact information is on those sheets as well.
Yeah, and I'll follow up with Mr. Donnelly with an email basically outlining the presentation that I was hoping to review today. But other than that, I really do appreciate your time today. Let me know if you have any more questions for us in the meantime, all right?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I have 2 right now.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our old business is Newtown office update. So dovetailing right into that conversation, the construction on the Newtown offices are progressing on schedule. And for those who aren't familiar with it, this project is bringing all the departments together under one roof to improve efficiency, accessibility, and service to our residents. This building's going to house a supervisor's office, HR, payroll, business, the clerk's office, building department, and the assessor. And it represents a major step for the town of Queens, providing residents with a functional, modern, professional building that reflects the growth and progress that our community is undergoing. And I also think it's important for the residents to know that since we voted for Jim Clark as our architect, we saved $60,000 over MJ, and AOW was not aware of our project, and I had my secretary reach out to them. They're a rather large company, and this happened to fit right into their schedule, saving us another $100,000 above the next cheapest bidder. So that $160,000 almost pays for the $207,000 renovation. So as CFO, I'm very proud of this economic plan for the renovation of this building. And so the update to that, I think we wanted to have a conversation about phase 2. We've been hearing a lot of questions about police and court, and that conversation that we've been having could possibly be on that 2 acres. We could still use some of the blueprints that we have the town acquired from MJ a few years back, and we're looking at that to move into phase 2. And most likely, it definitely be a new build because police and emergency companies need to have a risk 4 category building. New York State requires it in case of a catastrophic event like an earthquake. And the court also has, for New York State, has very stringent codes and standards that they must follow. So any renovation of a building would be as much probably square foot to renovate as to build new. So we have been, there's an idea to build new there if we, unless there are other ideas that come up. But so far that seems to be plan A for phase 2. If the board members have any questions or comments they'd like to discuss further.
I mean, I think the best idea would be to go forward with, to have the court and the police right across the way, the parking lot from the Newtown offices. A new build for both. I know we had MJ do a schematic and some plans for possibly that behind the current building, but I think it'd look better and it'd be more functional if they were across the way, maybe like an L-shaped building, separated by maybe just a double door going in, so it's easy access. But again, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that the size that MJ gave us, it was like maybe, was it 30 by 100, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was, I think, like a $2 million price tag for that, which, again, it's a lot of money, but I still think if we even did that, it'd still be under what we perceived to get everybody under one roof, police and court included, would still be under that threshold that we were comfortable with. So I think that's a great idea. I also think, we have to look at other options as well. I and Mr. Donnelly went to, I was always curious, like, because we lease out to the Albany County Sheriffs down by the Hamlet. We lease out the old firehouse for the sheriffs. And I see that building. I've never been in it. I wanted to see it. And I was in it with the chief and Eric Burns, Albany County Sheriffs. It's run down. It's in bad shape inside, but the outside looks fairly decent in a decent location. So, I think that's something we have to look at too. If the cost to have the police next to the other people in the town, at the town offices, if it's going to be too much, is it financially responsible to say, well, can the police retrofit that building? And can they make that work to the best of their ability? It's not my first option, but if it's going to be an outstanding cost for them to be by the town offices, I think it's an option. Not the best option, but it could be an option. So those are my two ideas. Build new with both of them right there. It would be my first one, and then if we had to, we could look into that down in the hamlet, but I prefer not to. But how do we go about that, I guess? Like, do we have to get, MJ or LaBerge, we have to hire them to sort of make engineering plans for our vision, like we had MJ do? Like, because we have to figure out exactly what it's going to cost if we want to move forward with it, right?
Do you mean on Main Street? Down?
No, I mean, like, if we have like an L-shaped
Oh,
building
yeah,
across.
we would get Jim to start working on it, yeah.
I mean, I feel like we should have, deeper conversation about that and maybe get the ball rolling here, because that does take time.
Right.
So,
My question is, though, as it stands right now, the Route 9W property isn't big enough for court. It's certainly not big enough to hold town board meetings. So if we're talking about phase 2 and the police and the courts, if we were to do a new build, that would encompass a meeting hall?
Yeah, I think that it would. I mean, when you look at the blueprints that that MJ provided, and I think you actually brought this up at a different meeting before my time about scaling down the 12,000 feet to maybe 10,000 square feet. Those options are available. I mean, they can rework those plans, but they exist and they cost a lot of money. So, a revision would be a lot less than a brand new vision coming from a whole different engineering firm. So we definitely want to save money where we can.
Yeah. Again, it's just something to think about, because if we're thinking about possibly moving the police down to the sheriff's substation currently down on Main Street in Queens, what then are we going to do for the court and meeting hall? So there's definitely a lot of moving pieces involved, and we just have to make sure that we're not forgetting any small piece of the puzzle.
right.
And honestly,
I would think that again, the plans that MJ gave us when we first started, it had the court, pretty much court and the town hall PBZBA meeting room in the back together, though. And I think that's still the plan. I mean, I know we've had some arraignments every so often, but they're few and far between. So I feel like you could still mix them together and not step on each other's toes. But I agree. It's a lot to think about, but we have to start getting the ball rolling with plans if we want to get this moving forward in a decent time manner.
any further comments?
Well, I appreciate the update.
Welcome. The next piece of old business is the truck traffic update. And the town has been actively engaged with Heidelberg Materials, Amrise, and the village of Ravena to address the ongoing traffic concerns in our town and village. And recent discussions that we've been having have been very productive. Heidelberg and Amrise have expressed a willingness to work towards a possible road maintenance agreement that defines acceptable truck routes and outlines responsibilities for road upkeep and mitigates the impacts for industrial traffic on residential neighborhoods. Of course, this agreement will be shaped in coordination with Highway Superintendent and the Town Board to ensure that technical considerations such as road weight limits and pavement conditions are fully evaluated. At tonight's meeting, we're just opening the topic up to discussion to inform residents where we are in the process and allow opportunity for input because we believe public participation is the most important part of this process. So that's why we're glad to see so many people here tonight to share their perspective, their perspectives. And that's basically it for that update. Is there anything that anybody wants to add, questions or comments?
I had on one of the agendas that were passed along the ultraviolet disinfection system. Are we going to talk about that, or?
Well, we moved that to resolutions because Keith had talked to the village today. He was in the office, and they are aware of the UV purchase and said yes, not a problem.
We had initially included that under old business
Because under your sewer use agreement with the village, we had initially included that under old business, because under the intermunicipal agreement that you have with the village, when you're going to make a capital expenditure, you need to put them on notice first and give them an opportunity
To comment.
to comment. We weren't certain that that had happened, but we did get confirmation from Keith today that it had in fact happened, so we just bumped that down to a resolution for the board to consider.
And where this UV system is gonna be put into the system, it's not where the village is responsible for a portion of the.
It would be, because as I understand it, that's within the fence or within the gates that you guys.
So they're gonna be responsible for 75%
Yes,
of the cost.
that's the purpose of reaching out to them, so they can review.
And they've confirmed that they're willing to.
The mayor did, yep. Okay, so that takes us, if there's no further discussion, right to new business, which is the agritourism discussion, and I believe the Dorseys, hey, how you doing, Michelle, came to give a presentation regarding agritourism.
Hi.
Oh,
Instead of putting this all on me, I don't like this. Okay, my name is Michelle Dorsey. My printer died right before I got here, so I'm doing this all on my own notes. And we bought 880 Bridge Street in 2022. My husband and I, my family, my 2 kids. I'm sorry, I apologize. I will speak up.
I'm not deaf.
Okay, everyone.
Yeah, come to the back of the room, they'll pick it up.
Okay. My name is Michelle Dorsey. My husband, my family, we purchased 880 Bridge Street in August 22. It was the former home of Oakencroft, the equine hospital. So our vision for this property since we purchased it was to have horses, cattle, chickens. I have all that right now. And also convert, because there was like literally 11 buildings, barns, and to convert 2 of the barns into a venue for agritourism events, farm-to-table events. We also, at the same time, recently created a 501c3, because my husband's a veteran, to do equine therapy, therapeutic riding for veterans, and also for anybody really who has trauma. So this is all we're thinking in the future. It kind of turned into kind of a rescue. We got 8 horses now. It's kind of pushing a little bit faster than we were intending. So all these different moving parts of this property, they all kind of work together and need to kind of work together for it to be successful. The venue is, we would like to have farm-to-table events featuring our own farm products as well as other local farmers. We could have indoor farmers markets, including parties, renting out for bridal showers, weddings, not exclusively weddings, but I don't want to be dishonest and say I don't want to have weddings, because that is part of it. But it's a multi-purpose space. It's a beautiful space. What we have done is we are taking something that was exquisite, beautiful in 2 towns, the town of Bethlehem and the town of Clemens. So the first 20 acres is in the town of Bethlehem. The back 60, and actually there's another, I think, over 200 that belong to Father Lesser. He was the previous owner, Richard Lesser, which in our agreement in the sale of the property, we have first right refusal to buy that as well. So it's farmland. It's acres and acres. There was miles of trails, there's miles of fence. And so we want this to be a space that can be enjoyed by the community and by others as well, and to give back out of our revenue. But in order to do that, I need to create revenue. So this is a way to diversify farming. So we've been working with the zoning board. We are appealing a denial that this usage of this barn is not appropriate. It's not an approved usage in the town of Queens. So, like I said, we're in 2 towns. The first 20 acres is in the town of Bethlehem. If my property line was just 100 feet or so back, I would have no problems. This would be an appropriate accepted use in the town of Bethlehem. They love open space. They love farms. There's another farm doing the exact same thing. that, is on a small road, like we're on a state road in the town of Bethlehem. There's no access to this property through Clemens. It all goes through Bethlehem. So Bethlehem is all for agritourism, farming, protecting farmers' rights, protecting open space. They love it. They love farm-to-table stuff. Now, I'm not saying Clemens doesn't. I hope you all do too. So going from here, what we are proposing to do, it's just an idea. Actually, I hired an attorney, and this was his suggestion. He suggested to go before the town board, and I submitted a lot of information about what agritourism is, and I also brought along my friend from Cornell Cooperative Extension to explain agritourism as well. To just amend in the zoning farming to include agritourism, which diversifies the revenue for farmers, diversifies farmers' ways to make money. And we are in total want to comply with any sound ordinances or anything like that. And we plan on doing everything, top notch. We live there with my family. I'm not having crazy parties all night. I have 2 kids. And they still are in elementary and middle school. Also, I wanted to bring up that in the town of Clemens, your economic plan that was from, I wrote it down, economic development safety, or economic development plan in March 2007. The goal 4 was to enhance communities' unique effects to attract visitors. Now, this was under agriculture. This was under farming. It also says that it encouraged to have agritourism to generate local revenue, to encourage day trippers, and this is in your economic plan, 434, to promote agritourism by supporting existing resources and encouraging new ones. Goal 6, to grow ag industries. And it also says goal 7, to enhance agritourism by working with farms and farmers to develop tours and experiences. And that's what we're trying to do. So we just are asking for a little more clarity because it's very ambiguous. There's no definition to farming. There's no definition to, I think in the code, what we think we would fall under is riding academy. I can't even read this now, but if the zoning was a little bit more descriptive, if it could include, not for us, but also for other farmers who want to diversify their revenue source. So that's what we're proposing. And I will also invite my friend, Tom Gallagher, to come speak with you.
I can give you a little bit more. A lot of people don't understand what agritourism is. It's a lot of things. With Extension, it's an opportunity to educate, whether it's youth or adults, like we do farm tours. We get about 1,000 people. So that tells you people are interested in farms. We've done it 5 years in a row and had over 1,000 people. The city of Albany owns a farm. We do 850 second graders. And we got sheep and beef and a blacksmith. And then there's things like pick your own. You don't think of it as agritourism. When the people go pick apples at Indian Ladder, they also, of course, they don't go without donuts. And then, maybe go into the store and buy homemade jams from another farm. So that's what farmers are doing is you're taking your jams, your bread, and putting them all in one farm store. And people love to go buy stuff at a farm store as opposed to Hannaford. Nothing against Hannaford, but and the hard part is that agritourism is just kind of growing. And so in the ag district law, it only died. I think there's 4 things in there that calls agritourism, and that's like a bale maize, corn maze. Those things are all considered agritourism. But they've added a lot of other things to this. The farm to table definitely is a big hit nowadays. And these farms can charge $350 for people to go eat out in the field. But that again is something that people love. And they get to know more about farms. So there's a lot of positive things to it. There's a few negative things, but most of those have been eliminated. I don't think we'd have a traffic problem over there. We have plenty of parking, which is, you try to have 1,000 people at a farm tour, that's the big problem. Where do you park? Fortunately, some neighbors have given us their hay fields. So what they're trying to do is expand the definition of agritourism to cover more things that farms are doing. And almost every farm is trying to do it because food prices are higher, but that doesn't go to the farmer. Input costs have more than doubled, and so it's really a rough time for some of the farmers. Now beef, we have the lowest number of beef cattle ever in this country, so the price of beef is going up, and it's going up for the farms. So it's, in that case, it's been a good thing for the farms. But most of it, like when you put a tariff on fertilizer and the price goes up, or fuel, or tractor parts, can really be something. But if you want more information, you can look up to the Ag District Law, and there's 4 or 5 spots where it talks about agritourism and what it is. And I mean, you're not getting any special dispensation because you're doing it. If anything, you're helping the community. I mean, I put the program together at the city's farm, and I work with the school district directly. They book the buses because they're Albany schools, so they don't have their own buses. But you could work with a school down here to do educational programs, and they work out phenomenal. Of course, RCS has their own buses, so you wouldn't have to pay extra for them or anything. So there's just a lot of things it could grow into. Just getting it, and I guess we could consider this farm a startup farm, because what it was is totally different than what it is and what it's going to be. And that gives you a little bit of leeway too, as being a startup. I won't keep you here all night, but if anybody's got any questions, or you can give me a holler. I'm at the extension office in Voorheesville. You can find my way to Queens tonight. But I've been here a couple of times, so I guess it's...
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Yep.
I just have a question, Mrs. Dorsey, Mr. Dorsey. Currently, you have an application for an appeal
Yes.
Before our zoning board of appeals, correct?
Yes.
And so that process is currently being undertaken.
Yes.
And you're just bringing this to our attention at a town board level as an alternate option? Like you're not trying to circumvent
No,
the system by any way?
no.
Okay.
No, my attorney, who's a zoning attorney, thought this was his idea.
Okay.
And, like, I've submitted a lot of information, and actually, the pamphlet, the PowerPoint that I sent you.
Yeah.
It's titled Land Uses and Zoning and Agritourism. I submitted that to the zoning board, but I think actually they said that there'll be something more for the town board to review. But I think if there was more clarity or more clear definition, then this would not even be a problem. You know, like he offered that, or if we annex my property to Bethlehem, because I wouldn't have a problem at all. And like I said, like the property line literally goes through 2 barns, so I think I'm actually paying taxes twice. It goes right through 2 barns. And the whole entire frontage, the whole driveway, before it turns, is in the town of Bethlehem. The whole entryway is Bethlehem. I'm not at all trying to do that, you know.
I didn't think so. I just, you know.
If this was adapted, then it didn't even have to go that route. It just might clear things up, because it just seems like we're bringing up agritourism, but there's not a lot of understanding of what it is.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't really know what agritourism is. I appreciate the presentation, and I appreciate the PowerPoint presentation that you provided us. I think we've had some communication with our town attorney about, you know, agritourism and, you know, your presentation tonight. So we have an understanding of what we're, you know, thinking about right now. My position would just be that I would like to see what happens at the zoning board level first before, you know, we start thinking about, you know, changing and redefining or making new definitions into our zoning code. And I'll be honest, I mean, I was on the zoning board of appeals from 2011 to 2022, and I was the chairman from 2013 to 2022. Our zoning code is very outdated.
Yes.
It's very, very outdated, and it's unfortunate. That is something that, you know, we as a town board are actively thinking about. So just know that too.
Okay.
I recognize the fact that we're way behind the times with regards to that. Thank you for coming tonight and providing us with this presentation.
If you need any more input, we do have an Albany County right to farm law, which you may or may not be familiar with, but as you're rebuilding your zoning codes, you might want to include some of the information that's in that. And the New York State Ag District law is updated every year. So if you can online get the latest version of that. There may be some helpful things in there. And we have an Albany County Ag and Farmland Protection Plan that was updated 3 or 4 years ago. So they're all available.
And Mr. Riley, I don't want to put you on the spot, so if you don't know the answer, that's fine. But does the New York Ag and Market law, does that supersede our zoning?
I would say generally not. There might be some exceptions that are carved out for actual farming operations. But your issue here is your zoning is really dictating what the permissible uses are or are not. And this is just one that doesn't seem to fit squarely within any of the existing uses. So they're appealing the code enforcement officer's current determination as to the existing zoning and then asking this board to consider maybe a modification if, from a public policy perspective, that's something you think is appropriate.
I just have a question. Are the barns what you're going to be using as a venue?
There's several barns. There's
Right.
two barns.
I should tell you too, I know the property. I've known Father Lesser for 20 years and I've been there multiple times, so I know the property layout and the barns, so.
The two barns, the one that was the Broadmere barn where they had with the horses,
Right.
they were the pioneers for embryo transplant for high-end horses. Like they would flew to Arabia, all over. But the pregnant mamas would be in the Broadmere barn, and it connected to another barn where they had their surgery area, their X-ray, there was a kitchen, there was even like a shower, bathrooms for their staff, and they had a very large staff of office staff and veterinarians.
So
And that was the building. That was like their workspace. And then there's another like arena. Which you have that still as an arena. I have another horse barn. It's still a horse barn. We have turnout sheds that are still turnout sheds and tractor. Like I still have
Right.
farm buildings. But these two buildings, like I'm never gonna have 100. I don't know. Maybe I will. And 50 horses. But at one point they had like 120
oh yeah,
horses.
right. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So those are the two buildings that are connected.
Right. And then there's a smaller little building. It might not be there any longer. Often it's a little ways from the house. That was used as a side office for when they had an extra vet living there. So,
Oh, I think that might be gone.
okay.
That was a little house that was like
Okay,
a
didn't
little
know.
mobile house.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to turn
I
that
think that's
into.
now Indian Ladder Farm.
Okay. Didn't know if you were going to turn that into a shop or not. And welcome, Mr. Gallagher. I haven't seen you in a number of years, so I'm glad to see you.
Great.
Okay, any further discussion on ag tourism? Okay, hearing none, we'll just go right to a resolution.
Councilmember Hoteling offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Clements is desirous of appointing a town prosecutor to prosecute matters on behalf of the town of Clements Justice Court. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Clements does hereby appoint Aline Galgay, I hope I got your name correct, Esquire, to serve as prosecutor for the town-related matters effective October 10th, 2025 for the remainder of the 2025 calendar year at a prorated annual rate of $14,000, generally payable by monthly voucher submissions as follows. $5,500 per year for traffic tickets issued by the town of Clements police officers to town of Clements Justice Corp. $5,500 per year for traffic tickets issued by the New York State Police and the Albany County Sheriff's Office to the town of Clements Justice Corp. And $3,000 per year for town code and penal law trial matters.
I second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Right.
Motion carries.
I, Councilmember Stott, offering the following resolution, moves adoption. Whereas the town board, the board of the town of Clements recently purchased real property located at 2524 US Route 9W, Ravena, New York, the property, to allow for the relocation of town hall offices to a suitable location that provides adequate space and public access. And whereas the property requires necessary upgrades and improvements prior to the property being used for the town hall facilities, which upgrades and improvements are reflected in the plans for the project that have been prepared by the Burge Group. And whereas the estimated maximum cost of the project is reflected in a bid received from AOW Construction LLC in the amount of $205,688, which is the capital project cost. And the town maintains certain capital reserves that can be used for the upgrades and improvements to the property to cover the capital project cost. And whereas as of December 31st, 2024, $748,765 was held in the Town Hall Capital Reserve and has been accruing interest in NICLAS to date. Now therefore be it resolved that, number one, the Town Board of the Town of Queens hereby establishes the Route 9W Town Hall retrofit project and hereby establishes a 9W renovation capital fund for the project. And number two, the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to transfer $250,000 from the existing Town Hall Capital Reserve to a newly created 9W renovation capital fund H-50. Number three, the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to amend the 2025 budget as depicted below for the budget year 2025. Increase appropriations from A960, transfer to capital fund $250,000. Increase appropriate reserve A511, capital reserve $250,000.
Second discussion?
So I have a couple of questions. One is, how's the money currently in the Town Hall Capital Reserve Fund been accruing interest in NICLAS?
It's been put in NICLAS, and has its own fund, and it's been earning over 4.2 for the last 11 months, I think.
Okay, and how come that number has not been on any of the monthly supervisors' reports for a line item?
The capital reserve, I don't think it's on our supervisor's report.
Yeah, it's not, but
Capital projects.
if we have this money in a fund and it's accruing NICLAS, how come it isn't reported monthly like all the other funds that are in NICLAS?
I'll ask the accountant that for you. And if you want to reach out, you still have her email and phone number, Sarah Morrison?
I do.
Okay, yeah, that would be an appropriate question for the accountant.
Okay. So this fund, this capital reserve fund, it's not grouped in with the A fund money, correct? It has its own separate fund. And why are we transferring $250,000 and not $205,668?
It was determined to have a little bit of a buffer there in case there was any change orders, things like that come up with projects of this size.
Do we anticipate change orders and?
Well, I mean, the engineers would always say when you take down walls, you never know what you're going to find. So it's good to anticipate and prepare for that. And, you know, the money can just go back when we're done paying the $205,000 at the end of in 668, you said?
And what would happen in the event that this project costs more than $250,000?
We would probably have to move some more money.
Then my suggestion is that we just move the $205,668 currently, and then we just move any additional money as the time comes.
Suggestion noted. Any further discussion?
Can we make that happen?
Will this be on the NICLAS report going forward?
I don't think that the HR funds are going to be on the NICLAS moving forward.
I mean, it's showing money that we're earning, you know, I mean, that NICLAS report's nice to see money that we're earning, and if it's not showing up, I mean, we had no idea it was in NICLAS.
Yeah, I had no idea.
You're receiving the NICLAS reports, though.
But it's not on there.
Correct, but it's not in there.
Very good.
It's $250,000, it's not on the NICLAS report that we don't see every month.
Well, it was 705, So, yeah,
Yeah, well,
the
again, now it's
$43,000.
$750,000, but,
Yeah.
we're still not seeing it, on the NICLAS report that we're supposed to be getting every month.
Correct, and you're
Okay.
getting those, correct?
We are getting the NICLAS report, but it's not a complete report on, as it's lacking this piece of information.
Any further discussion?
Are we as a board willing to amend the 250 to 205,668?
I personally think that 250 that's recommended by our accountant business office manager is appropriate, as they are the professionals that we use their recommendations
I
all
think
the
it's,
time.
6 in one, half dozen the other, whether you put 250 in and you don't have to move it again if you need it, have it in there why one fell swoop, and hopefully we don't use it. Hopefully there's no change orders and it stays to the 205, but, if by that time, maybe there's something else that comes up, but, usually I would assume if we only use 205, we just put the other, $45,000 back until we need it again for the next project.
And we can take the 45,000 and put it back, we don't get
Absolutely.
boxed in to,
Nope.
this doesn't box us into keeping it there and doing something with it.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Supervisor Donnelly offered the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Queens seeks to purchase a new ultraviolet disinfection system in connection with the town's wastewater treatment system, and whereas the chief sewer plant operator has reported to the board that Trojan Technologies is the sole manufacturer of this UV system, and whereas Trojan has offered to sell the requisite equipment for the UV system to the town for $31,415.90, and whereas the board recognizes that the current UV system is aging and has multiple failing components and is desirous of purchasing a new UV system at the recommendation of the chief sewer plant operator, and whereas pursuant to the intermunicipal agreement for the provision of sewer transmission lines and treatment facilities for use by the village of Ravena, the town of Queens, dated July 6, 2010, the chief sewer plant operator advised the village of Ravena of the town's proposed purchase of the UV system
You speak up like you're talking area back here.
so that the village and
Thank you.
Thank you. So that the village had an opportunity to comment on same. Now therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the representations made by the chief sewer plant operator that Trojan is the sole manufacturer of the appropriate UV system, the board determines that this be a sole source situation under the town procurement policy. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Queens hereby authorizes the chief sewer plant operator to purchase the UV system according to the attached quote, and expend the total amount of $31,415.90 to be charged against the sewer general fund.
I'll second it for discussion. So for discussion, based upon the math in the previous conversation, it sounds like the village will be responsible for $23,584.43.
That's how the current addendum to the intermunicipal agreement reads, correct?
Correct, and that'll be coming out of SS 8130.4.
That's a joint account, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the joint account that they pay into.
Right. I believe.
So this isn't a situation where they pay 75%. We're actually taking money from a fund that they also fund.
But they pay in 75% of that fund.
Do they?
Isn't that the?
They're under the intermunicipal agreement, responsible for that percentage of the capital costs within the gates, so to speak, of the sewer plant.
I think your question is they don't pay into SS. We pay, and then they reimburse us the 75%.
So they're going to reimburse us $23,584.43.
Correct.
And how come that's not notated in the resolution? How come it just says that,
Because it's in the intermunicipal agreement.
right,
And it's right there.
right, so we have the whereas pursuant to the intermunicipal agreement for the provision of sewer transmission lines and treatment facilities for use by the village of Ravena and the town of Queens dated July 6, 2010, the chief sewer plant operator advised the village of Ravena of the town's proposed purchase of the UV system so that the village had an opportunity to comment on same. But it's not clear in the resolution that they're going to pay 75%.
The contract between the village and the town dictates those terms.
Yeah, again, I just want to make sure that the record is clear and that we have an expectation based upon these conversations that the village will reimburse us 75%.
And the advised, and so that they had an opportunity to comment, that language is taken directly from that intermunicipal agreement. That's why we put this clause in there.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure that, we're clear and there's no surprises in the end. Like, I know we have the intermunicipal agreement in effect until December 31st of 2025. I know that the split is 75-25. So, now it's clear and on the record that, 75% of $31,415.90 is $23,584.43.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
I, Councilmember Schmidt, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens previously established the need for a workplace violence prevention plan, WVPP, and whereas pursuant to the WVPP, the town established a hazard reduction team, HRT, to administer the WVPP, and whereas prior members of the HRT are no longer employed by the town, and the town board wishes to ensure that the HRT is properly constituted and can effectively implement the WVPP. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens hereby appoints the following individuals to said HRT for the balance of calendar year 2025. Santi DeBacco from the building department, Tyler Gillespie from the sewer department, Stephanie Hamilton from the police department, John Williams from the highway department, Linda Ziegler from the payroll and human resources department.
Second by Councilperson Bruno. Any discussion?
The only question that I have is, so we have the workplace violence prevention plan, but I think there were talks previously that that plan needed to be updated. So now that we're putting this hazard reduction team in place, are we now going to focus on updating that workplace violence prevention plan?
Correct. The board had the policy since I think March of this year, and if there were no revisions or reviews that we asked for, we're more than welcome to review it again and go forward with any revisions that you feel comfortable with for discussion.
Yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. No, okay.
What's that?
I said, you saying something, okay? I, Councilmember Bruno, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, DASNY, Community Resiliency, Economic Sustainability and Technology Program, CREST, C-R-E-S-T, was awarded a grant, in the amount of $150,000 to conduct a Queens Route 9 sidewalk engineering feasibility study, the project. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens previously retained LaBerge Engineering and Consulting Group Limited, LaBerge, to provide planning and engineering services to the town, and has received a proposal dated May 30th, 2025 from LaBerge, the addenda, to implement the project. And whereas LaBerge proposes to bill a flat fee for addendum number 2025042-1 of $150,000, the entirety of which will be paid using funds received from the grant. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby authorize Supervisor Stephen Donnelly to sign the addendum provided by LaBerge.
Second.
Discussion?
Again, a couple of questions. Why is LaBerge charging the same amount of money that was awarded by the grant? Does anybody else think it's a coincidence?
Well, the
Because I
grant
don't.
was written that way, and the previous administration had spelled out had received this grant for $150,000 for a full reimbursement grant, under the stipulation that, this was the price for the feasibility study, that they have to work with DOT, and, that the village would be doing the work, and that Amrise would donate the cement.
Yeah, I just find it funny that the grant is $150,000 and LaBerge is saying it's gonna cost $150,000 to do the feasibility study.
It says it in the DASNY grant that is what the money is for.
Oh, because I thought I remember, because I was on the board at the time that this project came up previously, and MJ Engineering was the town engineering group at the time, and I thought I recalled them saying that they could do it for less than $50,000.
I think it was 149,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I remember that discussion, yeah.
we were at a joint, Linda may not have been there, but we were all at a joint meeting with the village, and this came up, and I remember recalling that and saying, it's funny how, like, you know, it's $150,000 and they came at 149.
Yeah.
But yes, it must just be in the language, and, you know, it does ring a bell.
So this isn't a matter of where we would shop engineering firms to get a different price. This is the fact that DASNY is saying we are going to give $150,000 to an engineering company to do a feasibility study.
Correct. That's how it's written.
I mean, it's odd, 'cause it sounds like if that's the case, no engineering firm's gonna be like, I'll do it for 100 when they offer 150, you know? But it's for the sidewalks, right? It's for the sidewalks, and, you know, I think we're still talking about where exactly they're gonna start and end. But I guess the hope is maybe from like Silver Spoon all the way down to,
Connecting Mountain Road where their sidewalk comes around to Silver Spoon, and then the spots that go to the new town offices,
Yes.
essentially.
yeah, I think it'd be great, because I see people all the time on the side of the road, on that side, trying to, you know, cross lanes and walking on the grass. So I think it'd be well-deserved.
I think it's going to be a humongous project.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess this is for starters,
Yeah,
we'll get the study
concrete's
and,
free, and the village is doing the labor, so.
yeah, I don't know.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Again? Motion carries.
Councilmember Holt telling off for the following resolution, move its adoption. Whereas the tentative budget for 2026 was given to the town board, the board of the town of Queens on September 25th, 2025. And whereas the board has solicited feedback on the 2026 budget from the town of Queens department heads and has discussed the 2026 tentative budget with department heads on September 3rd, 2025 and September 15th, 2025. And whereas the town board has made changes to the 2026 tentative budget based upon these discussions and prepared and submitted a preliminary budget on October 9th, 2025 to the town clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby direct and authorize the town clerk to schedule and post a public hearing for the purpose of hearing comments in the 2026 preliminary budget on October 23rd at, we're gonna go with 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I left them blank because I know you have a couple of public hearings that you're considering, so I wanted the board to make that decision.
I think that one probably takes priority.
So, yeah, so let's go with at 6 p.m. at Queens Town Hall, 18 Russell Avenue, Ravena, New York, 12143.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
So there have been changes made to the preliminary budget, correct, from the tentative budget?
Yeah, we kept we put Code Red back in. And it was essentially that list that
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah, no, I'm just confirming that we have made
Ravena
changes.
Rescue, yep.
Yeah, so, Mr. Riley, my question is, because according to the requirements with regards to the preliminary budget, it says it says the board reviews the tentative budget and may revise it by majority vote, town law, section 63. All changes must be in writing and reflected in the minutes. The board may continue its review over multiple meetings so long as the statutory deadlines are met. So my question is, does this resolution fulfill this obligation that that it be by majority vote? Like, do we have to go through each separate line that was revised from the tentative to the preliminary?
I don't think you need to go through each separate line. I think
Okay.
you can act on it on the whole, just like you would at the end, right? You're gonna vote up or
Right.
down
Yeah.
on the budget.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that based upon that language, that we weren't violating town law, section 63.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to go through and sort of have a roll call vote sort of on each individual change for that to be effective.
But we should make the public aware
Yes.
of the individual changes that have made, because it has been available at the clerk's office for review.
Correct.
So,
And we did review the budget line by line.
Yes, we
no, we did, yeah. I just want to make sure that the public is aware that there has been changes made from the tentative to now the preliminary.
Which is, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So under the next resolution, I know, Mr. Riley, maybe you can help me. So we talked about this resolution pertaining to a public hearing in regards to a zoning clarification of a transportation terminal. And we had a discussion that, I think we were talking maybe at the next meeting, the 23rd, to have a public hearing, but it seems like we have a lot of public hearings on the 23rd. So I think we were planning on maybe having a workshop maybe next week, and then pushing the public hearing for this to our first meeting in November. So if that's the case, do I table this, or do I read it and we just set a date right now for it?
It's really up to you. I think from a timing perspective, you could do it now, or as long as there's essentially a 2-week gap between when you set the public hearing and when the public hearing is actually going to take place, that should give the clerk sufficient time to notice it and meet the newspaper requirements.
Yeah, sure.
So we could do it on the 23rd.
So you could do it now, you could hold your workshop and do it at your workshop, or you could do it on the 23rd if you weren't going to actually schedule it until that
14th.
Thursday in November.
Is the 13th?
Second Thursday in November is the 13th, so you can do the resolution, make it the 13th,
Make it
and then you
Would
can
that
do.
be okay for everybody? Okay.
I'm not comfortable agreeing to a public hearing until we meet as a board to discuss the language that's in the proposed local law. So,
Okay. All right.
Just because, opinions can change one way or the other after that workshop meeting.
So if we decide on the October 23rd that we want to have a public hearing on November 13th, that'd be plenty of time and notice. Yes.
Right.
That's too large of a conversation right now. We've had this for a while. Do you want to just discuss it now? Like, what are the concerns, just out of curiosity?
Well, my thing too is like a public hearing is where we can talk about it and where the public can talk about it. So I just feel like we've had this for a couple weeks on the definition of a transportation terminal. So it's just us talking about it and having any questions hashed out right here, right now. And then we have 2 more weeks to bring any further information to see if we want to talk about it more, any questions, and the public has their time to come up and talk about it as well. I just, again, what Mr. Donnelly said it, and I agree, we've had this for a couple weeks, and I put out a couple emails saying, this is what I was looking for. Maybe to have October 23rd would be a good time to have a public hearing. Do you have any questions? And I understand like email is different than in person, but I didn't get any response nonetheless.
I mean, do I think we should have a public hearing on this at some point? Yes, but I think, we as a 5-person board should sit in the same room and, have a discussion with each other in the room as opposed to trying to, coordinate people's schedules by email. We all have, lives outside of here as well. My second concern is that we're trying to shove 4 public hearings, according to these resolutions, on the last scheduled town board meeting of the month of October, which is also our regular business meeting where we're doing bills and everything else. And to be quite honest with you, transportation terminal is a zoning thing. I think it needs a lot of discussion. Weight restrictions, there's 2 separate ones here. We need, I think, to be fair to those people out there, we need to afford them ample time at separate public hearings to be able to speak their mind and not try to shove a bunch of crap with 4 different public hearings at the same time while we're trying to do our budget at the same time, and we've got other things to worry about. Let's put these on separate dates and let the people have the opportunity to be here on those dates to speak their mind on that topic and give them the courtesy to talk to us so they're not, one person talking about this one person about this one. We're confused enough up here lately as it is. Let's not make it worse. That's my opinion.
My question still stands. What are the issues that you would like to speak about the
We'll
transportation?
talk about it at the workshop, I guess. I think we got some things to talk about, and what we all believe is what we, I guess my initial thing is I think that we should do a complete zoning rehaul. I mean, we've already heard that our code is dated 1962. We had somebody come up here to talk about agritourism. She wants to have something done. We have a zoning board president here who's dealing with codes from 1962. Let's do it all at once, and let's not piecemeal one zone at a time. Let's do it all at once and spend the money to do it all at once. And I agree, it's an important topic, what, Councilmember Stott is trying to, has introduced to us, and he's passionate about. The town roads and the weight limits, there's so many different avenues that we can talk about with town roads and weight limits. There's passionate people on both sides in both areas, and they all have great concerns, safety concerns, health concerns. But let's afford the people that come here, that put us here, the opportunity to have individual public hearings to talk about their concerns with us. We owe that to these people who put us in these seats, whether they voted for us or not. We owe it to those people here or not. So let's put them. Let's at least do it correctly.
So just to circle back, you don't have any concerns right now after reviewing the materials for the last couple of weeks?
Well, let me check.
My concern,
What's going to come up at the workshop?
I'll be specific. I mean, my issue right now is I don't know in my mind what a transportation terminal, agricultural related definition is.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Riley has proposed a definition that says means a yard or transfer site used for the storage and or transfer of agricultural related produce, goods, or materials that are grown, cultivated, harvested, or produced as a result of a permanent principal use within the residential agricultural RA district. So in my mind, while we've had this for 2 weeks now, and we've had time to think about it, I still, in my mind, don't really know what a transportation terminal for agricultural related really should say. And I don't know how to then interpret that and put that into permitted uses within sections of the town.
The town of Bethlehem seemed to have it quite right. You might want to discuss some of how they have put their terminology into their zoning method.
I checked in the town of Bethlehem. They have a transportation terminal in their town code, but it's under industrial, not agricultural. It's for public transportation like CDTA buses. So I did look into Bethlehem.
But they didn't seem to have a problem giving this lady permission to do her thing in Bethlehem.
But this is a totally different.
This isn't in conjunction with Miss Dorsey. This isn't agritourism.
This is totally
Yeah.
different.
No,
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Why doesn't this, where you have it on your agenda here, why doesn't it just tell us agricultural or balloon party or transportation terminal? Last time I heard it in this room was when Long Fuel was going up to 101 and 9W.
That's a trucking
That's
terminal.
a trucking terminal.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Again,
Two
You
different.
could say something
right.
that might clarify what you're talking about. We said, I was town clerk for 10 years.
Absolutely.
I sat in that seat right there for 10 years. But I don't see this board explaining any of these resolutions. We have no copies of them. I don't want them. But we don't know what you're talking about. We're just here shaking our heads like unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I try to ask as many questions as I can.
And I'm tired of raising my hand and people probably saying, I wish she'd shut up. But I know how I went through 3 or 4 boards. And they all did things a little differently. But you're not really reacting to us. I know, when we get up there, well, you don't even have to answer anything when we ask questions, in case you don't know it. You didn't know it. You need to read your books, guys.
So, Mr. Riley, I found your email from the 25th of September when you presented this to the board, all copied on this. As a follow-up to our discussion last meeting, I had an opportunity to look at the few zoning questions that have come up, in particular, Mr. Stock questioned the inclusion of a transportation terminal as an accessory use in a residential agricultural RA district. As a result, those areas of the single-family residence R1 district that do not have public water or sewer, transportation terminal is currently defined as a railway terminal, freight station, container terminal yard, multipurpose cargo terminal, port, transfer station, or any similar receiving point. Now, what does that sound like to you or in the board members and the residents, that definition? Does that sound residential and agricultural?
Right, so transportation terminal, at the time this definition was added to the code, appeared in two different places. It appeared as a permitted use within the industrial zones, and it appeared as an accessory use within the RA zone. They added the definition for transportation terminal, which from my reading is a pretty industrial, high-intensity use. The minutes at the time indicated that it was only intended to be a change that would affect the industrial zone. I frankly think they didn't realize that the term appeared as an accessory use under the RA zone. There's a definition of an accessory use in your zoning code, and I don't think that the current definition of a transportation terminal would qualify as an accessory use to any of the principal uses in the RA zone. And so this is just an attempt to continue to allow that definition to apply in the industrial zone while coming up with a more narrowly tailored definition for the RA zone that truly would be an accessory to the principal uses that are currently allowed in the RA zone.
And so what's the issue with your definition is different?
I just don't know that I totally agree with the definition that's being proposed. So,
Do you agree with the definition that's currently there?
Can you let the residents know the definition that's being proposed?
I already read it, but I'll read it again.
Yeah.
So
Because they said they couldn't understand what we were saying.
as being proposed through our town attorney, transportation terminal, agricultural related, which is a new definition of a transportation terminal in the RA district, means a yard or transfer site used for the storage and or transfer of agricultural related produce, goods, or materials that are grown, cultivated, harvested, or produced as a result of a permitted principal use within the residential agricultural RA district.
So the permitted principal use sounds like the key there that we're drilling down on.
The accessory use can't outdo the principal use. It's an accessory to it. And I think the current definition is overbearing to the principal uses of anything agricultural or residential. I mean, just the terminology of the transportation terminal itself that it sits right now that was created in 2020. I mean, multi-purpose cargo terminal, a port, a transfer station, a freight station, a railway terminal. I'm not sure about any farmers or people with agricultural land here, but I don't know anybody who uses a railway terminal for agriculture. And seeing that half, if not more than half, of our territory in the town of Queens is residential agricultural, I think the best thing to do, and I think that's what I was trying to get at, was keep a transportation terminal, but put this in industrial use, and then make the new definition of a transportation terminal for an accessory to agricultural use, because that way the accessory use will truly be an accessory to the primary use, not vice versa. And again, this is my opinion. I want to hear people's opinion, and that's why I wanted a public hearing. And I understand, trust me, that we have a lot of public hearings now coming in on the 23rd, but maybe, like Ron said, maybe we don't have them all on the same day. Why don't we have, since we have the budget one as well, why don't we have the transportation terminal one on the 23rd, and then the two for, North Jarvis, we can have these on the 13th, since there's two of them. So we have 2 and 2.
It makes sense. And just for discussion, I'm curious what about the Rich's definition of transportation terminal specifically raises flags with you.
Again, in my mind, I haven't figured out yet what a transportation terminal agriculture related. I appreciate Mr. Riley's efforts and his ability to provide us with this proposed definition, but I'm on the town board of the town of Queens, not Mr. Riley. So I want to make sure that if we're proceeding with a local law, that I've done my due diligence and I've thought about this thoroughly and accurately. And I think that we should have a workshop to discuss this. And then we should proceed with the resolution to schedule a public hearing. If you guys don't want to do that and you want to go ahead and take a vote, by all means, take a vote.
No, and I agree with Steve.
I just want to clarify, because you said that you were the chairman of the PDCBA and you have tons of experience. So I'm sort of picking your brain. We're actually having the workshop right now.
Yeah, well, I'm not prepared to have a workshop right now.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
Well, I think it's easier to have a posted public hearing and have to cancel it than have to schedule one. So
Okay.
I agree we have to have a workshop, and we're probably due for one anyway.
Yep.
And we can talk to each other after the meeting, talk to each other tomorrow, I send an email, and we can all figure out next week what time and date works for us all. And I'd be glad to have a public or a workshop. But I think for now, we have on the 23rd, the one for the budget public hearing and the one for this one, because it came first, the transportation terminal, and then the other two pertaining to North Jarvis. We can have those public hearings, since there's 2 of them, on November 13th. That's our next meeting.
I thought we were looking at this, the one that we're discussing right now for the 13th, and then because everyone's here to talk about the
That's fine.
the
I mean, I
road
just,
maintenance
right, but we have to have 2 of them for the ones for North
Right,
Jarvis.
because they're so similar,
They're
we
so
could
similar.
have them.
That's fine.
We could have them on our.
So do you
at our next
suggest
meeting.
that terminal just do the 13th? Is that what you suggest?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, man.
it's probably a bit more involved, so.
Okay, so I'll read it and I'll put it down as November 13th. Is that what we agreed on, right?
I think we should just schedule a workshop, and then on the 23rd, when we come in, we read this resolution, then scheduling our workshop. That way, when we have our workshop next week, we're all in agreement that we should proceed with the workshop on the 13th.
Well, we could schedule a public hearing now and we could cancel it if there is an issue, just so that we could get this off our plate and we can move forward.
Yeah, it's right here in front of us, so I say just, in my opinion, just do it, and if we want to cancel it, you can always cancel it.
I would just like to see the workshop scheduled first.
I would just offer too that in terms of timing, the board should absolutely have a workshop. You should thoroughly discuss it. This does appear to be a pretty significant hole in your zoning, right? It looks like a mistake. Mr. Hoteling referenced the fact that maybe the entire zoning needs an overhaul. I would absolutely support that effort, but I would encourage you to the extent there are errors or mistakes, you should act on them as quickly as you can, just to close those holes, right? Because otherwise, an applicant could come before you and get vested rights based on the current zoning, which then becomes more hard to change after the fact. And an overhaul like that could take, it could take a year to really go through it. So that's just, whenever you decide to schedule the public hearing and proceed, I would just, urge you to where you see something you want from a policy perspective to fix, you should do that without waiting for the full overhaul.
But this, just so that we're clear, this has been in our town, in our zoning code since 1962. Transportation.
Not the definition.
Not the definition.
That's 2020.
But it has been in our code as a principal use in the industrial zone and as an accessory use in the residential, agricultural, or R1, unless it doesn't have water or sewer, then it resorts back to RA. That has always been in our code. The definition has not been.
So a couple things. There are a number of terms that are in your code that have not been defined.
Correct.
This definition was added in 2020. Your initial schedule of district regulations, which lays out the different uses, was initially adopted in 1961. It was amended in 1967, 1969, 1993, and then 2020 and 2023. From what I've seen, I know that that term existed in there as of 2020. I don't know if it was in there in 1961 or if it was added in 1993.
I can't comment on that, but I know it was before 2020, it was in there.
Prior to 2020, correct. I just wanted to be clear.
So, Mr. Riley, what would be your advice? Would you, from what you just said, would you say that this, since it's a gap, it's a hole in the zoning, would you say you do it on the 23rd, or would you think it's okay to stick to the November 13th?
I mean, ultimately, it's a policy decision whether you guys want to proceed or not. I would just urge that if you've got a gap, you should close it. If you all don't think it's a gap, then that's fine. But
I think
to
it's
the
a gap.
extent you need to think it's a gap, you should have.
Yeah, I think November 13th is very reasonable. It gives us plenty of time to go back and forth with the emails, discover.
We need more than just emails. We need to have a workshop.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nobody's saying no to a workshop.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we have more than just that to discuss at a workshop. But yeah, I agree.
Correct.
But I think the workshop should primarily or solely focus on this.
Oh,
We
yes.
should-
Oh, I
Because we
agree.
haven't had a workshop,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have 3 or 4 topics.
No, I agree.
We should
Right.
just,
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to read it and I'll put I'll switch it to, amend it to November 13th, 2025
6 p.m.
at 6 p.m. Okay, I'll read it so we get. I, Councilmember Stott, offering the following resolution, moves adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Queens is considering adoption of a local law entitled Proposed Local Law Number 1 of the 2025, wait, do I have the right? Oh, yeah, I do have the right, sorry. 2025 to amend the town code, chapter 165 zoning, section 165-3, entitled Definitions, to add a new definition for agricultural-related transportation terminal, and to clarify that such agricultural-related transportation terminal is permitted as an accessory use in the residential and agricultural RA district, and whereas pursuant to NYCRR Part 617, the proposed action is a Type 1 action requiring State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker review. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby designates itself as the lead agency in the consideration and review of proposed local law number 1 of the year 2025 pursuant of SECRA 6 NYCRR subsection 617.6, and be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on proposed local law number 1 of the year 2025 and conduct an environmental review thereof on November 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Queens Town Hall, 18 Russell Ave, Ravena, New York, 12143. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor and town clerk are directed to prepare such notice, publication, and referral as required by law.
Second, further discussion?
so just for discussion and just for the record, it's pretty clear, but I'm not in favor of going with the scheduled public hearing until the workshop is done, just in case there are a number of workshops that may need to be had in order to work this all out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of the public hearing, but not until the workshop is scheduled first. I mean, the hearing should happen at some point. I'm not totally in favor of the date being locked in prior to the workshop. That's just my opinion. But the hearing should happen. We should have a public hearing at some point regarding this, but I think it should be after the workshop. And we could get involved with the other 2 public hearings or 3 public hearings, whatever we're going to try to schedule in 2 weeks, and they may have to be carried over. But, that, again, my opinion for discussion.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Well, since we're here, do we want to, you have your calendar out, Ron? Do you want to just do a workshop date while we're all here?
calendar, so tell me the date and I'll have to let you know.
Okay.
There's a planning board on Tuesday, so we won't be able to use the room on Tuesday.
Thursday, Friday, well, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are all good for me. if there's already a meeting on Tuesday.
Wednesday? So what, Wednesday?
I can't do Wednesday. There's an open house.
Steve, I think it's on Wednesday. The planning board is on Wednesday.
Planning board's on Wednesday? I'm sorry, I had it for Tuesday because Monday is Columbus Day.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wednesday the following week. We just had our meeting on Monday the 6th, and we canceled our 14th meeting.
Okay.
So you're
I
good.
knew it was the 14th.
Yes, we
Okay.
canceled it, and we rescheduled it to the week before.
Okay, thank you.
So Tuesday's good here, then if we leave, everybody was good for Tuesday.
I can't do Wednesday. I could do Thursday or Tuesday.
I can't do Tuesday, I could do Thursday.
Thursday?
What date is that? Is that the 16th?
Thursday the 16th.
I can do Thursday the 16th.
Thursday the 16th?
I make a motion, do I make a motion, I
Do you want
guess?
to do 5 o'clock or do you want to do 6 o'clock?
That was great.
I would
5.
prefer 5 since it's a
Fine.
workshop.
Fine.
Sure.
Can you do 5? Ron, can you do 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
5 o'clock.
Do I have to make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion to hold a public hearing on
No,
October.
no.
Oh, sorry, sorry. I make a motion to hold a town workshop at 18 Russell Ave on October 16th at 5 p.m.
You have the clerk post notice.
Yep, and have the clerk post a notice of such workshop.
Second?
I'll second that.
Second by
Mr. Donnelly introduced
I'm
second.
sorry, you seconded, sorry. I'm writing
You
and
got that,
talking
Sharon?
at the same time, yeah.
All in favor?
Sorry,
Aye.
Sharon. Aye.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
yeah, good work.
Thursday. the 16th.
Thursday. Monday's the 17th.
That brings us to, that was you, right, Mike?
Yes.
I, Supervisor Donnelly, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens is considering adoption of a local law entitled Proposed Law, Local Law Number 2 of the year 2025 to amend Town Code Chapter 156, Article 6, weight restrictions to eliminate a weight restriction on Jarvis Road North and add a restriction to Limekill Road and a portion of Mountain Road Extension. And whereas pursuant to NYCRR Part 617, the proposed action is a type 1 action requiring secret review. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens hereby designates itself as lead agency in the consideration and review of proposed local law number 2 of the year 2025 pursuant to Secra 6 NYCRR Section 617.6, and be it further resolved that the Town Board will hold a public hearing on proposed local law number 2 of the year 2025 and conduct an environmental review thereof on, and I think we're suggesting 23rd of October.
Now, the budget one is at 6, right? So how far should we space them out?
6:30.
My thought would be that your public hearing on the budget will probably not generate too much comment, right?
Probably
Or
a
at least,
couple.
So you may want to start these ones earlier. I'm just thinking so that you have sufficient time for the
So
public.
6:15.
6:15? If they roll over.
Point of order, I know I'm not part of this board, but I am here to hear what you have to say, and I can't. So either speak up, get a microphone, or resign. But I want to hear what you have to say. Not on a couple things, everything. And I know the people that are watching on video at home can't hear anything you say. I'm in the back row. Speak up, please.
Thank you.
Please.
So we'll have this October 23rd at 6:15 p.m.
Yeah. If you want to second that.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Discussion?
So for discussion purposes, I think the board is well aware of how I feel about eliminating a weight restriction on Jarvis Road North. I sat on the board when we actually created that weight restriction after that road was beat up pretty well and the residents had to deal with truck traffic. Again, I totally understand the situation that we're in. I understand that the people on Mountain Road Extension, Limekill, Fuller, are dealing with the same issues right now. I just don't believe that, moving the issue back to Jarvis Road North is the solution. I think there has to be a better way than to just keep jockeying these weight restrictions on these roads. And so I'm not in favor of removing that weight restriction on Jarvis Road North.
And this was just to schedule the public hearing.
I understand, but just so we're clear,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm all about transparency,
Can
so.
you say something, please? All these people are here tonight. I almost got killed at my granddaughter on Jarvis Road. You people are all elected because we want you to be elected. And you're doing a great job. We can't do the stuff you do. But you need to listen to the people here tonight. You need to take about 15 minutes. All of these people were here because a neighbor heard some kind of a gossip something going on.
I appreciate your comment, and I know we're going through some resolutions right now, but there's a portion right after we get done with this where we have an open comment for the public, and that's when we expect everybody to come up and talk.
Okay, thank you.
And I didn't want you to think that we were sitting here talking about this. And
Okay, we don't understand all this resolution.
And we want you to come up here, and I really.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Thank you.
No, I'm glad you stood up, and I really encourage you coming up here, because I share the same
But
sentiment
all
as
these
Councilmember
numbers
Schmidt.
and laws, mean nothing to us. They do to you.
Yeah.
We respect that. But
I believe we have.
We're close.
Right, we're good. We're getting there.
Thank you.
I believe there's a problem, but I believe we should have a public hearing too, so
Yep.
let's get through these couple things here, and then we'll be more than happy to listen to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also have a couple more questions with regards to the proposed local law and the proposed road use maintenance agreement that was distributed. There was a meeting held, and correct me if I'm wrong, Supervisor, on September 30th, 2025, with you, Mr. Riley, the town attorney, Amrise, Heidelberg, the mayor, and the village attorney. Was the superintendent of highway invited to that meeting?
This meeting that we had was just for the parties to get together to discuss a possibility of us working with the industries. We got together with them not to discuss anything material changes, any road type of agreements, just to sit down with all of our attorneys, with the village, with Amrise, with Heidelberg, with the town, and say, do you want to work with us? And they said yes. That was the extent of the meeting, and as we move forward, if it starts, material changes start to happen, and if we do discuss what a road agreement may look like, it depends on 100% the residents speaking out. That's why I talked to some people on the phone today, answered emails. There's obviously a lot of interest. This is more people than I've ever seen in this room before, personally. And I think it's great to have this conversation. And this resolution is just for a public hearing for more conversation. So that, because you guys, like you said, you heard about it on the fly and you came here, we want more people. It would be great if this room was filled so that we can just start discussing possible solutions to this decades-old problem. There are emails that go back to 2020 that are saying the same things that we are saying right now. We're going to go up here and come out there, and they never came to fruition. It was a lot of talk that just ended. And there were emails going back and forth from people on the board that were responding to residents saying, we're not going to be silent on this. Well, it's 2025, and obviously it didn't work out that way. So we just want to move forward to come up with a solution, and we welcome every idea that is coming out of residents and board members. That's why we're here. And this resolution, once again, is just to have more conversation, because this is a huge issue that has not been solved. And I have emails that go back to 2016. I don't know if Bob's here today, but he's been dealing with this, and people that have been on Mountain Road Extension for years now. And we know that people on Jarvis North and South have been dealing with it too in their own, this as truck traffic, we need to solve the problem, and it's not going to be a perfect solution, but we need to start taking first steps because all indications are that heavy industry is not going to diminish. It's going to grow. So we have to address this, and I'm so glad that everybody's here tonight to say what they need to say and give us your perspective. So just to clarify once again, this resolution is just for more conversation on the 23rd at 6:15.
But it's scheduling a public hearing to talk about a proposed local law that has been drafted.
Correct.
So I have a couple of more questions. During that September 30th meeting, did Amrise provide any sort of proposal to correct or fix the issue?
Amri's position is their trucks that come out of the north entrance on 9W go north and south on 9W. They have essentially tanker trucks that are filled with limestone. So no dust, no going on Main Street. They only have a 25-mile radius that is feasible for them to make money. Most of their limestone goes out of the Hudson River because that's the cheapest way for them to ship their product to the world. So they don't go on our town streets as much. And I think that they had said 80 trucks go out north and south on 9W, depending on where their destinations are.
Excuse me 1 minute, Mr. Supervisor. Could you say, how did they take those trucks out? With the limestone in, the lime in?
You'll see them when they pull out of the north entrance. They look like tankers.
The north entrance.
On 9W?
Yeah, by the restaurant. Yeah, across from the
You
diner.
mean off Mountain Road?
No.
No.
They come out of the cement plant, cafe.
And I think I should really clarify. So you have Amri's trucks coming out, you have Heidelberg's trucks that are using the aggregate at the quarry, and then you have trucks that are coming out of the industrial park, private entities. Salt, there's 3 different salt guys there. There's at least 10 businesses there, Curaleaf, CTI, TCI, and they have trucks coming in and out. This is the smallest step into a larger conversation. Heidelberg are very agreeable. They're very amenable to trying to diminish their footprint on Main Street and the residents of the town. So that was the conversation that we had with them, was just, can we start taking steps towards a solution? And they said yes.
Will they be coming to the public hearing?
I'm not sure, but maybe.
Might be nice to.
Good
invite
question,
them,
yeah.
So they can hear what the people are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question I have is, Heidelberg has a contract with Amrise. Do we know when that contract is going to expire?
No, I did not talk to them about their contract.
I have a quick question. For example, I know for the London landfill, they have to report the number of trucks entering and exiting. For the Port of Queens, is there any accountability for the number of trucks? I mean, usually for the DEC, it's only one way, they don't count a trip as back and forth, it's just one. But it would be, I think, helpful for the community to understand not only the truck routes, but the number of trucks.
That would be
That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, we haven't done a road study of the trucks coming in and out. We have unofficial reports from residents. But we also, they had put forward that they had diminished from the 100 trucks a day from Carver Company Industries to, I think they said they cut that in half to 50. So I have heard from residents, it seems like truck traffic has diminished slightly. 50 to 100 to 50 is.
When did they cut that to 50 trucks? When did they cut that to 50 trucks?
They didn't give me a date, but I would imagine.
I provided you with confirmation that that is not
Yeah.
the true and correct.
Right. So this is, moving forward, we'll be getting that data, yes.
Letting everybody know how words get
viewed around.
Yeah, so,
Winston and I sat at the diner at 1:30 this afternoon, having an early supper so I could come here. But truck after truck after truck. And all of a sudden, we're at Ravena at the Spoon. And we're sitting on the south side in the booth. And all of a sudden, the traffic's backed up past the diner.
oh, yeah.
I had seen 3, 4, 5 trucks go down through loaded. So we get in our car, we go out, and I guess I was driving. And they're all at the light because the trucks are backed up 3 or 4 in a row. Nobody can turn left because traffic's coming north on 9W. So going south, they may have to change a light there or something, add an arrow to the
Right.
left.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying do that either, just get rid of the trucks. But I also have a remedy for that when I stand there.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, in this second, so this resolution, if we pass it for the public hearing, there is a second local law. The distinction is, just to make it easy to understand, is one limits the Limekill, Mountain Road extension. It puts a weight restriction on it, and the other one does not. And like we're saying, these two local laws, just moving forward to have a conversation about it, is what these two are. And then we can get right to public comment time, if you want to.
What's the weight limit?
8 ton.
Okay, thank
Did you finish reading that?
I think it's.
Oh, I didn't, and you
Yeah.
seconded it. Okay, so we're at discussion point. Is there any further discussion with the board? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ron, what did you vote?
I voted aye. And it's only for the public hearing, not because I'm agreeing with it.
Sure. Resolution carries. Okay, Steve, that's you.
I won't be reading it.
Councilmember Donnelly, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Queens is considering adopting a local law entitled Proposed Local Law Number 2 of the year 2025 to amend Town Code Chapter 156, Article 6, weight restrictions to eliminate a weight restriction on Jarvis Road North. And whereas pursuant to NYCRR Part 617, the proposed action is a Type 1 action requiring secret review. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens hereby designates itself as lead agency in consideration and review of proposed local law number 2 of the year 2025 pursuant to SECRA 6 NYCRR Section 617.6, and be it further resolved that the Town Board will hold a public hearing on the proposal local law number 2 of the year 2025 and conduct an environmental review thereof on 23 October at, are we saying 6:30?
That's
I would
past
say 6:30.
Okay, at 6:30 PM at the Town Hall of Queens, 18 Russell Ave, Ravena, New York, 12143, and be it further resolved that town supervisor and town clerk are directed to prepare such notice, publication, and referral as required by law.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Again, only because I don't think I got an answer, or Councilman Schmidt didn't get an answer. I thought we have a local law that's actually proposed and written regarding our town road, and you had a meeting. Why wasn't our town highway the supervisor even invited to the meeting to actually give some input? I mean, is there a reason why, there's a local law, but we haven't got his input yet?
Yes, there was an answer because we were just doing the initial meeting and we're not working out the.
I understand the concept of
distinctions
an initial meeting. An initial meeting, then you come back with information. And with that information, maybe we should proceed with some changes in some local law. Maybe you should introduce the highway superintendent so he gets his input about any proposed local law changes. Maybe we go out and canvass the residents first before we actually talk about a proposed local law. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I think
suggested.
sometimes we put the cart before the horse, and now we got the horse,
Well, we're actually following statutory obligations. That my obligation is to facilitate conversations with parties, and the highway superintendent's obligation is to provide technical advice to the town board and the residents.
Well, do you
That's
think
the
Do you
distinction.
think the technical advice of the town highway superintendent and his expertise, since he spent a lot of time, energy, and our money to fix that road, he would know a lot more about that road to have a discussion with before?
That's why we're having the public hearing.
Listen,
Okay, but again, I understand having a conversation, but wouldn't it make sense to bring all the players in to have a conversation? Just like when I say we should have a workshop and bring all the players in instead of like email, hey, this is what happened at the meeting. Oh, here's a local law. We're gonna start this process. You know?
Just for clarification, I would note that the initial draft of this local law was circulated to the town board and
Can't
Mr.
hear ya.
The initial draft of this local law was circulated to the town board and Mr. Baker back in May. And so we also circulated a draft maintenance agreement, which has not been presented to any of the business owners.
No, I know.
And provides an explicit spot for Mr. Baker and a town designated engineer to add details about what they would like
But from a
to see.
technical expertise, perspective, wouldn't that have been the appropriate person to also bring to that meeting?
That's why he was included back in May in the email.
But
I mean, the mayor went.
you guys set up an appointment in September, and a simple invitation, an email to the highway superintendent. Do you think that maybe it would have made sense to have him actually sitting in that same room?
Well, he didn't respond in May. May 20th, I remember that email.
Okay, we've had a lot of conversation with
responded.
the highway superintendent from May to now.
I may not have responded to your email, but I've been pretty clear since day one that I am not in favor of removing the weight restriction on Jarvis Road North.
listen, I think the
That
whole
clears
point
up the
is,
question.
it was a preliminary meeting. It got the ball rolling. Listen, Mr. Donnelly got two multi-international billion-dollar companies to get in the same room and talk with the local government of the town of Queens, the 7,200 people. I mean, we're not passing any laws. We're so far from making any final decision, regardless of what you read online, that it's unbelievable.
Well, that's not really true, because once you have a public hearing, you are, at the close of that public hearing, you are that much closer to enacting that local law.
Public hearing is the mechanism to get
Information.
comment.
So then post a notice that we are looking for public comment prior to introducing a local law.
The goal is to get public comment, so whether
Can't hear you.
I'd say the goal is to get public comment, so whether you call it a public hearing or an informal workshop, the goal is to solicit public comment, and that's what the board
At the
is
closing
trying
of
to
a
do.
public hearing, this board can take a roll call for yay or nay as to whether we're proceeding with the local law. So as soon as you have that public hearing,
We don't have to do that, though.
I know you don't
We have
have
to have
to
a public hearing to hear, what the public wants and their needs and their desires. I mean, you have to put one to, make a decision, yay or nay, to even get there. And Mr. Baker's opinion is important, but I don't think we're to the point yet where we are, having all members in the same room. Mr. Baker is going to have plenty of time to weigh in on what he feels, and whether it's through email, whether it's through phone conversations, whether it's at the public hearing on the 23rd, he will have plenty of time. Because I look forward to hear what Dan has to say, but I think we're getting held up on something that really is not important as of yet. I mean, there's plenty of time to get information. We will get that information. We're not going to leave Mr. Baker out of the conversation. That would be foolish of us.
Yeah, he's instrumental, and we're getting kind of bogged down, and I thank you for bearing with us. If there's no further conversation, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, public comment time.
Upcoming meetings for
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're almost there.
I think chopping at the bit.
Don't tease him.
Upcoming meetings, PBZBA on October 22nd and November 10th at 7 p.m. Our next town board meeting is October 3rd. We have a workshop on the 13th? When did we say?
The 16th.
The 16th. And November 13th will be our next regular meeting, our first one in November, and that's at 6 p.m. Now it's public comment time. If anybody wants to say anything, please step to the lectern.
Oh, I will come up.
And again, just a reminder, provide us with your name and your address.
My name is Patricia Grogan. I reside at 134 Cedar Grove Road in Queens. I had no intention of speaking, so this is all off the cuff. I have to say, this is disheartening. It's as though the left isn't talking to the right or the right's not talking to the left. Something's going on, and it's really disheartening.
You gotta talk louder, a little bit louder.
Oh, that's usually not a problem for me, but sure. This whole local law, I have to agree with, you have a large turnout. You have a concern. A local law never should have been presented until there was a discussion. And then maybe you come up with a local law. You have no idea what other remedies could have been without discussing with the people. And furthermore, it just blew my mind away that the highway superintendent wasn't a part of that. And I understand there were emails, but there was no discussion. You need to have discussion. You need to come up with solutions before you present a law. So that's number one. Number two, I just wanted to quickly touch upon something that was brought up earlier so that the board is aware. One, just so all of you know, we have a public hearing scheduled on the 23rd for the Dorsey situation was here. And I think it's important that you either attend and maybe even the public. I just want to make it known for public record, the agritourism presentation that you were given is not what the appeal is for. And it's very important to know that. The planning board was never presented with an agritourism project. We were presented with a large wedding venue in a residential area. So I think that just needed to be cleared up for the public and for you, and to let you know that there is a public hearing about that. So those were my 2 cents.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next.
Anybody else showing up?
Here's a list. Somebody has that list.
If you want to
Anybody,
step
anybody's
on up.
fine. Just
Yeah.
come on up.
Good evening, board. My name is Bruce Parker. I live on 289 Buschendorf Road, and I'm against the removal of the weight restrictions for the reason of safety. On the way down here tonight, I took 12 pictures of North Jarvis Road. If you've ever, I don't know if you're all familiar with the road, but I'd be happy to share these with you after the meeting, just so you have an idea. Telephone poles on the right, rock ledges on the left. You get a big tractor trailer, like one of those big gravel trucks, maybe not a good alert driver, there's really nowhere for you to dodge the safety issue. And the other thing is, there's no yellow lines on the road, so people don't always stay where they're supposed to be on the road. Plus, there's people, we have bicyclists, hundreds of them, that have their bicycle day on Buschendorf Road, which is connected to North Jarvis Road. It's a very dangerous road. And the other thing for the safety issue, and if you want to see the pictures, you can see how tight it is in many areas. But the town did a good job paving the road. And that leads you to the next thing, fiscally. They spent that investment on improving the road. With those heavy trucks on there, they're not made, the pavement is not up to par to hold that weight. And it does damage to the good work that the town spent hard-earned money on and sweat on that they did. And that's all I have to say. I would be against the restrictions.
Thank you.
Parker.
My name is Karen Van Dusen. I live on Deer Mountain Village Road. I use it every day, 2 and 3 times a day. I want to congratulate Mr. Michael Stott on his comment about meeting with the industrial people. For years, this is a small community, and we have not met with them and used your power to control the problems we have. We need our police to ticket these trucks. We need the industrial people to control the drivers they have. If they want to come into our community, we need the money. We need their help to jobs and things. But unless you can have a marriage between the community and the industrial people, it's not going to work out. And it's going to be continual arguments. I had a granddaughter that I transported back and forth 2 years ago, and I was almost killed 3 times on the narrow part where there's a ledge and a ledge. Here comes the truck. The other day, there was a car here passing on Jarvis Road, and I'm here. I just stopped and pulled over to the stone ledge. And fortunately, this car just stopped and the other guy came around. This road is not meant, the macadam is not meant for heavy truckloads. And also, my son lives at the end right next to the quarry on Jarvis Road. I couldn't get to his house. It was like this. They ruined the road. Carver or some one of the truck companies fixed part of it. Then you guys, Queemans, fixed the other rest of it. So the road's beautiful now. But unless there's a marriage between the industrial people and you have some power as a community, then you're not going to win. And you're going to do the same thing. Money talks, plain English. And you've got to stand up to these people and you got to listen to the community. I don't know how many people you have on Mountain Road. They're experiencing the same thing we experience. There's probably $200,000, $400,000 homes. And the value of these homes, I wouldn't buy one of the homes on that road. Not with truck traffic. These trucks need to be diverted to 9W, the major routes. And I go down to the senior center to dinner 3 times a week. Can I tell you how many times I almost got hit by a truck? You have big tractor trailers. They don't belong in the Queemans. We got kids at school there and everything. You need to make some laws because one of these tractor trailers is going to kill our kids. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work you do. We don't know all of that, but we do, we do have opinions. Thank you.
And just to follow up with Carol's comments and Mr. Parker's, once again, when Heidelberg said that they were interested and they were amenable to doing, to working with us, they had mentioned that they, and like Mike said, they're a multinational company. They are amenable to making that road robust and wide enough. And when in the conversation, I said, well, I drive down that road all the time. There's 2 telephone poles. You can barely get a truck through that. How can you move telephone poles? And they said, well, we don't, but the utility company will. And they will, if they do that, if this is something that we decide, the road would be like 143 because I think it's 1.7 miles from Buschendorf to 101. I've measured it a few times. And when you go up to Deer Park, somebody said they lived up there. I think.
Are you talking about them doing the Limekill Road that they used to have years ago?
No, they're amenable to doing North Jarvis from quarry entrance to 101 and then going and making it a road like 143 and then hanging a left on 101 and going to 396 to 144 or to exit 22, the throughway, their trucks fully avoiding Main Street.
And those trucks will not be fully avoiding the road that I drive on or the other 20 or 30 residents that live on Buschendorf Road.
Correct, yeah. And when we pass the same trucks on 143 all the time, and they're huge. I hear you.
Yeah.
Where I live, there's a shortcut.
Yeah. 143 is a 2-lane highway.
Correct, and that's what they're saying. They
Jarvis Road
explicitly said this is what we do.
1.5 wide.
I'm sorry,
Jarvis Road is barely a 1.5 wide. You can't get 2 pickup trucks down that road in some of them corners, let alone a tractor trailer and a school bus.
Correct.
Right, sir.
For a school bus to go, if there's a tractor trailer coming around the turn, they're going to go down that embankment. It's going to get somebody killed. You guys got to fix the problem.
Yes.
Stop Main Street talking in circles and do something about it, because those.
And that's what Heidelberg.
Are not going to go up and down that road like you can.
That's what Heidelberg said, that they would do a road, and this is not a new idea. Once again, it goes back to 2020. The Harbor Company said they were going to do the road over, and that fizzled out. Heidelberg is very interested in being a good neighbor and they said they would do that road from the entrance to 101 to make it strong, robust, and wide. And I said, you're gonna have to blast rock out.
If I could just ask, just for the sake of the clerk, if, as people have comments, it's great to have comments, but if you could identify yourself and hopefully come up to the podium, just because otherwise it's going to be really hard for the deputy clerk and the clerk to create
What road
minutes.
are you talking about?
Jarvis
Well,
Road North,
North Jarvis.
What about south?
We have no interest in
Not
it.
included.
that's closer, could be included, not North Jarvis.
Well, because they want to go out 101 and avoid the village altogether.
Yeah, well, they need to avoid North Jarvis and us altogether too, and Buchendorf.
And then listen, the trucks are big. We know they're dangerous, but and it's dangerous on North Jarvis, absolutely. But they're also dangerous in the village. The village is very densely populated and no real shoulders and cars on the side and
But
kids.
they could be
playing.
exited right on 9W.
Well, I know, but trucks are dangerous wherever they go. It's duly noted why South Jarvis isn't necessarily what they want because, again, it gets the trucks off of the village streets as well.
Right, but it could be exited right up 9W North, 9W South. It's a bigger road, it's more stable with the cement that they use or the pavement they use. Not in a neighborhood where people live and pay taxes.
Ma'am, can you just identify yourself?
It's Mrs. Van
Carol Van
Duzen.
Duzen.
Van Hoosen.
So my name is Kel Van Duzen. I live on the end of North Jarvis, right by the quarry. So I don't know if you're aware of these trucks. Most tractor trailers are registered at 180,000. You know, your basic tandem axle trailers. These guys are running 4 axles. Do the math. We don't belong on our roads, period. We're a small community. From the river to Queens Hollow, we're a small community. Them big trucks don't belong on our roads. So with that said, maybe we need to look at a conveyor system or something that comes out of that mountain, and there's a loading station. Carver's got a lot of money. I can do the math.
Carver doesn't own it anymore.
Whoever, they got a lot of money. And we've been bringing that stone out of that mountain for years. I've been on that mountain for 55 years. So do the math. They've been bringing the stone out of that and the cement out of that mountain down to the river. They can bring it to an area down there. There's a 72 acre or a 70 acre lot on 144 that's for sale. They could do a loading station right there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of options, and a lot of people are upset, and a lot of people are bickering, bumping heads, whatever you want to call it. So we got to look at above and beyond options.
I'm glad you brought that up too. That was a question that I had. You all remember the Kenike Road that comes out, the old road?
The old line killer came down off the mountain.
Right, so they had a proposal. It was one of the first meetings that I came to when I moved back here, and they had their PowerPoint. LaBerge said, we're gonna do this road. That was Lafarge. That was 4 years ago, and they were talking about doing that road, and I had that conversation. What is taking so long? And from DEC to Amrise now, back and forth with permits and how we're going to do. And there's a bat species that lives. So when we posed the question, how long before 101 if we do that route? And he said, what, Rich, 3 years? 3 more years?
I don't recall the specific time frame. We also did ask if the town could do anything to sort of encourage state officials to expedite that. He indicated that they were very receptive to the town sort of helping in that regard, but they weren't at a point in their approval process where they thought it would be beneficial.
Yeah,
I mean, welcome the town's support of that effort.
The biggest question is when is the contract up between Amrise and Heidelberg, and is Amrise willing to do away with that contract? Because if they are, it's a done deal.
What if they're not?
Well, I mean, we as a town have to have that conversation with Amrise, and we have to see how long is your contract in effect for? And what is your plan after that? Because we as a town are part of it.
This was the old room. I'll wait till she comes up. I'll pass these.
Yeah.
Good evening, and thank you for your time. I'm Stacey Jordan, and I've been a resident at 178 Wilson Road since 2010.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
If you were to travel Jarvis Road north today, you'd find it a pretty unremarkable rural back road. It's a bit windy and narrow, but it's freshly paved and fairly low traffic. If you were to look at a map, you'd see only a couple of houses on that road, so it's easy to think that this would be an ideal truck route. There are several concerns that are not being taken into consideration with this proposal, and I'd like to highlight two of them. Safety of all who travel that road and the actual maintenance of the road. Prior to the weight limit being established for Jarvis Road North several years ago, truck traffic was an everyday occurrence. Jarvis Road North is traveled not only by residents of adjoining roads, but school buses, people traveling to the middle and high schools, people coming from Queens Hollow and beyond, kids on ATVs enjoying the trails in the backwoods, and the occasional daring cyclist preparing for the annual bike race through our neighborhood. For those of us who travel that road multiple times a day, with truck traffic, not to mention condition of the road in previous years, the drive on Jarvis was challenging, and you'd always be prepared to play chicken with a truck that was oncoming. While the road may legally be wide enough, there's little to no shoulder in places, and when you're between a large truck and a rock outcropping, you'd hold your breath, maybe swear, and hope for the best. Yes, there's a posted speed limit, and it is reasonable, but even at low speeds, there's sections of that road that are unsafe for unfamiliar drivers, even on a good day. Now let's discuss the actual road itself. Prior to the recent paving, it had been at least a decade, possibly two, since Jarvis North was paved. Every so often, the town crew does come patch holes and rough spots. It was still riddled with potholes, and dodging them along with dodging large trucks definitely impacted the vehicles and drivers traveling on that road. I know for a fact that our highway superintendent spent countless hours coordinating resources, including funds, crews, and time, to make it possible to pave Jarvis Road North, along with Buschendorf and other town roads. This project, I know, is over $100,000 that we taxpayers funded. The road was paved to withstand everyday car travel, not commercial truck travel. To reintroduce heavy truck travel back on Jarvis North would destroy the integrity of the new paving, create more potholes and unsafe conditions, and would be a waste of taxpayer dollars. I speak for many residents when I say that the proposal to lift the weight limit on Jarvis North is a short-sighted solution to a long-term problem. This proposal undermines the hard work and dedication of our highway superintendent, who looks out for the safety and needs of the more rural areas of our town. Please reconsider your proposal with the safety of travelers in mind. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Stacy.
Good evening. My name is Keith Traver. I live at 102 Buschendorf Road. I sent you all an email last night expressing my concerns and multiple pictures following a truck. In many spots, there's not even 4 feet on either side of that truck to get by or to push you off the road. And one other thing, I don't know if I really pointed out, if you lift that restriction in Jarvis, all the truck traffic for blacktop, stone coming from county goes right back down Buschendorf, which has been occurring on a regular basis. And also back in 2021, when all these trucks were using that road, they would go out the end onto 101. They'd make a U-turn in front of Callahan's old office and go right back down 101 to 9W to the village. I watched it over and over and over again because they did it all day long. So you're expecting them to go all the way out to 396 and all the way down to the port. I don't see that happening.
But here's another point, and I don't know if anyone's considered it. Several years back, Callahan had them taking the low-grade ore from the quarry by conveyor belt over to their main plant, piling it up, and they were taking it from there to make asphalt on site, so they can do that same with the rock, and they can transport that right straight down to the river road, through their own property. So I don't see why they are not looking at their own resources they have at hand. As I said, also against just lifting these restrictions, but that's not going to solve your problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Good evening.
I'm Jameson Parker. I have lived at 265 Buschendorf Road for 32 years of my life. And let me remind you, that's a town of Queens Road. It's not a state road like Main Street. It's 143. It doesn't have sidewalks like 143. It doesn't have a solid base like 143. It's not as wide. I want to also add that Buschendorf Road residents pay some of the highest taxes. But you wouldn't know that. If you looked a couple years ago, there's potholes everywhere. And that's from all the heavy trucks. That's from 20 years of neglect from this town. I've been to third world countries that looked better than this. And you guys did a great job paving it. Thank you for that. But if you let these commercial trucks back on it, it's gonna look like shit. A bus and a trailer cannot fit. They can't fit. I'd like to see you try it. All right? It'll be destroyed in no time. Kids, it's not safe enough for kids on bikes. Again, there's no sidewalks. It's not wide enough. It's not strong enough. As you guys said earlier, you met with a multi-billion-dollar company. They have a lot of money. Open up the old road. If they want a road, open it up. Work with DEC. Work with the state. I mean, they have the money for it. You know? And if they don't, let their lease end. You're talking about their lease ending? It ends June 2026. Let it expire. And I want to also add that Lafarge, they used to pick up the trash on that road. And they also maintained Deer Mountain Trail there, which also turned to shit. So that's it. That's all I have to say.
Can I just ask, do you have a copy of the lease?
The lease?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, I mean, I'd love to see it.
But I know.
Yeah.
That's great to know.
Find out the date.
That's great to know. If it is June of 2026?
It is. I mean, let that be something that you guys run on.
Absolutely.
Whether you're for it or against it.
Absolutely.
Moving the problem is not the answer.
No.
Especially putting money in something. You're just going to make it feel waste.
Jameson.
How did he know that?
Open up, sorry, Bill.
You know who it is?
Facing that farm.
Do you know who it is?
Jameson Parker.
Jameson Parker.
We ask him like how he.
Yeah, that's an I.
I don't know.
Talked to him on the phone today. I call him tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that.
We should have already asked that as a town. We should have already asked that.
Somebody. Are we ready? Geraldson, Linda, I live at the base of the quarry. Okay. Guys, listen, I can feel your pain, but when George put in the local law 10, I don't believe there was a separate meeting on that. I really don't believe that. You might remember that because you were on the board.
When you say
When
separate
he
meeting, you're talking about.
in local law 10.
We had to have a public hearing.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was a public hearing. I think it was a quick discussion. There was? Okay,
There
sorry.
was a public hearing. I think it.
It
I
was
think
very quick.
It was
It
part
was
of a regular
very
board
quick.
meeting, but.
Nobody came out if it was
A
quick.
letter, George read my letter, okay, that said I did not want to be discriminated against. I also wanted to be included into every provision of local law 10. He read that. He was just here a while ago at a meeting and actually pointed you out, Mr. Smith, and said, you remember that was temporary. You remember what he did was temporary. And it should have been already handled by this board. Okay? That's what George said. It's on record.
I watched it and I thought, well, that's interesting, right? Because for the last 2 years, I've worked with Mr. Donnelly. Nobody else. Actually, Mr. Smith, you didn't even answer an email. Okay, and I don't know if that's like, isn't that like just common courtesy?
It is.
Okay.
And I take responsibility for that. My apologies.
But it's just a waste of time, right? It's literally a waste of time when people reach out to you and you don't respond. I mean, and that's the negativity that I was talking about in my email about this town and this board. And yet I was ashamed of this board when you accused that poor woman of possibly doing something wrong. Mrs. Dorsey, are you kidding? She was trying to say how old you were.
I didn't accuse her of doing anything wrong. I was simply clarifying that she wasn't trying to circumvent the system.
Why would you ever say that? She was trying to tell you how bad your laws were, and she needed to be clarified on them. Like, come on.
I was asking a question.
But I was embarrassed for her, and I was embarrassed for you in the tone and the way you asked it, implying that she was possibly doing something wrong. No, she was trying to say, this town and this board is so ridiculously behind the times.
Oh, I know. I'm the first one to admit that.
That it is unbelievable, okay? So anyway, when I started this process, all right, of working with DEC for the last 3 years, working with this town board for the last 2 years, there was, I just gave documentation of 98 trucks on August 7th, 98 trucks. And that was just something that I could get right then. I haven't compiled all the information, 98. But better than that, I sent everybody on this board, wiped my windowsill, mud. It looks like paste. Okay, sent this board, sent DEC, sent Heidelberg, sent AMRES, videos of street sweepers spewing so much dust when my grandbaby is outside. Are you kidding me? All right, so I don't know if anybody's got grandchildren, but I'll tell you, it's different than your own children. My kids would have played down that dust. My grandbabies, hell no. Okay? Disgusting. And I live that every day. Every day I can send videos to DEC of the dust that is spewing out of that quarry. Now, yes, they can put a weight limit on. They can take a weight limit off. We're moving the problem around, but we're not making ourselves healthy. We're not doing clean air by no means at all. The truck's idling. Sit there and idle. How much diesel fuel? Anybody know? Nope, I don't either. But it can't be good for any of us. And I'm at the base. So they sit there and they run and they idle as the other ones are coming down, tandem, one after another. What are you guys subjecting me to? Actually, I should probably go and ask for my taxes to be lowered because it is disgusting. My road is disgusting. I had a town employee run a roller off the side of the ditch as I kept emailing the last board supervisor saying, these roads are not safe. The sides, how in the hell did Carver come and do any work on our road and you're worried about Dan Baker going to a meeting? Yet we allowed Carver to work on our roads? That should be a question for you. Are you kidding me? Took and destroyed my road. The sides weren't safe. I kept bitching and bitching and bitching. The highway guys are up there. The man rolled his roller down over the hill. That's how unsafe the side of those roads were. Okay, because why? Because we put 150 to 200 trucks on a road. Nowhere did we even test that road. Nowhere did we even do any type of situations on whether that road could handle the traffic. Nope. Put a weight limit on their road, open it up to mine. That's what we did. Nobody was concerned. No. Anybody got any information on what the regulations were to run that amount of traffic down that road? I had water trucks spewing thousands of gallons of water. Oh, they stopped because I asked for a speedy permit. Huh. Well, I didn't know what the hell a speedy permit was. I'm learning. Oh, but they stopped. No speedy permit, they stopped. Really fast. I'm learning, I'm going, all of that stuff is leaching into our wells. Like, come on. Oh, yes, but here I am, 2 years. My husband says to me, you gotta go to a meeting. I said, why the hell do I have to go to a meeting? I have had so much contact with Mr. Donnelly and the board. Why do I have to go to a meeting? What, because I gotta publicly say this in order to get anything done? I mean, what is going on? So yes, I sympathize with you guys. You don't want them back. I sure as hell don't want them. What's our option?
Oh, where do you live? I didn't hear.
I'm at the base of the quarry.
You're
Fuller
at Mountain Road?
Road? I'm Fuller Road at my house. I'm at literally the base of the quarry.
They need to make a road over the mountain that goes down to 101.
It's never gonna happen, okay? This road that you guys all talked about for 5 years is never gonna happen. George came to a meeting and said that they lied to him, DEC lied to him, it's never gonna happen, and if Amaraz wants to make money, put in a conveyor belt. That was this year. That's what George said at a meeting. So all of this road that you think or anybody thinks is gonna, don't ever mention it again. Because you all sound dumb. Don't ever mention it again because it's never gonna happen. That road is never happening. I mean, because it would have been in by now. It doesn't take that long to put a road in. Okay, and then we had some talks about bats. There was something, my husband said something about bats. I don't know, he said something. That, right, you might have said something about bats too. That road is never going in. So what's our option? We can't close down Amaraz. Huge part of our community.
What's one of the questions that I asked? I asked, when is that contract up between?
Doesn't matter, I can't wait. You are literally killing me. Literally killing me. If you saw the mud, I mean, look at your video. The mud that is on my windowsills. Our houses are road frontage. Road frontage. Okay? I'm washing my screens, they're black. My house is black. I mean, no, I deserve to have clean air. No, I don't deserve my grandbabies out there like that. I don't deserve to live in a fishbowl. These guys are glaring at me because Linda's the problem. Linda's got the big mouth. They all hate me. They run down that hill and they glare at me like I'm doing something wrong. They don't even know what the hell's going on. They came to a board meeting and said I chased their truck with a blower. Oh yeah, well, you want to know what the blower situation is? When I go out and mow the lawn, I clean up and I'm also cleaning up. You want to come up on a Sunday when I mow the lawn and I blow the road off? Come on up and see what Pigpen looks like. I mean, this is absolutely positively disgusting. We have no other choice but to split the bill. I pay just as much taxes as you do. I hate it. I hate that they would open your road back up, but I sure as hell not taking the blunt of it. There's 3 roads. That's it. Until something else is figured out, we have got to split the bill. And they lied. If they said 50 trucks, they lied. They lied, they lied, they lied. I told you. 98 on August 7th. I can give you every single video. Every video I can give you. So let them say there's 50 trucks. My ass, there's 50 trucks. Okay? And that might be good. That might be good. I don't even want to do any more data. It's disgusting how many trucks can't pull into my road. I have to sit out on 9W. Can't pull into my road. Because you can't pull in when you're pulling out.
Try our road. Try our road.
Can't do it, right?
Hold on, this is public comment period, so you can address the board, but you shouldn't be addressing anybody in the public.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I just want to make sure they heard me. I've literally emailed when Bill Cool was Carver's go-to and said, tell your trucks to stay on their side of the road. They forced me into another driveway. Our roads are not big. Not big at all. They forced me into another driveway. Okay, our road's disgusting. I've been there 29 years. Our road has never looked as bad as it does now. Rumble strips from all of the blacktop or whatever, the millings or whatever the heck was just put down on our road. They're like rumble strips. I mean, but what? That's okay? No, it's not okay. It's not okay for any of us.
But yet I can appreciate businesses in this town and I can appreciate industry. And I have heard for 3 years, we've put $1 million into the quarry. We've put $1 million. Well, you should have come down and asked me because it's not working. Okay? That's all I keep hearing. And now I want to hear, oh, we're going to take another 2 years? No. Time's up. No. Everybody had a chance to do everything that they thought was great. Not successful. Okay? And there's a couple problems going on right now because AMRAZ is not controlling the dust that's coming out of the quarry. And they have an order of consent to do that. Okay? And if Heidelberg/Carver, because I don't know, there's a conflicting story on the acquisition, but I do believe that they're the same company. If they choose to not obey by the contract, that it still falls back on AMRAZ. So they have an order of consent. Dust is not supposed to leave the quarry. Why is it leaving the quarry?
That's a DEC issue.
Yeah, no kidding. I work with them countless. For 3 years, I've been sending all the information to DEC. Trust me.
Well, I'm sure.
Okay? But I have to use any avenue that I can get. Okay? Whether it be DEC, whether it be you guys, because you're literally, this is literally ruining my life. Ruining my life, ruining my home. It's literally just taking and absorbing everything. I used to live on that road, beautiful road. A lot of people didn't even know where that road was. Absolutely gorgeous road. It is disgusting right now. The green space on the side of the road that I used to be able to mow, nope, gone. It's gravel because they kept trying to reinforce the road. Reinforce the road for what? 100 trucks, 150 trucks that aren't even supposed to be there. Now it's all gravel, dirt. Like, what is that? I don't even know. We're having our well tested. I don't even know what's in that from all the stuff that's leaching. Like, no, we've got to come up with a plan. And guys, I'm sorry, but the only option right now is to split the bill so that we're all getting something and we're not literally having one person or one area in the community just being bombarded.
Mr. Charleston, I understand. I mean, I've told you before, you've endured, Mountain Road Extension when they closed north and south drivers. I understand why. I mean, they're not safe roads, obviously, and they bottlenecked it all to Mountain Road Extension. And maybe it was for a short period of time. Maybe it was the hope that this magical road of 101 would start. But, I think that meeting that you and Mr. Riley went to and you asked MRIs or Wholesome, how far along are we? And I feel like they said something along the lines of, well, it's really we're waiting on permits from MRIs, and they made it sound like it wasn't very far at all. So I really, I wonder how far that road ever was really coming to fruition.
Like 2 years
first, but also we say a conveyor belt, like have put a conveyor belt in. Well, I don't know the exact date, but I remember I watched the meeting. Bob Jones was here asking Mr. McHugh, same issues. We have the truck traffic. What can we do? And Mr. McHugh said, well, I'm going to get a road maintenance agreement, so they have to follow it. That never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah, so what about a conveyor belt? And Mr. McHugh said, that can't happen.
And Keith has more knowledge on that because I think when they redid the plant, there is actually a physical reason that they can't do a conveyor belt.
Yeah, I forget what he said, but he said that wasn't, that's not possible.
Yeah, no.
But you've endured, and Mountain Road Extension has endured, I agree, and it's not fair. And I think as a board, we're just trying to figure out, everybody has concerns. I understand that. I'd have concerns too, but we need several options to go by because right now it's just not working. It hasn't been working for a while. So, I know you want to open up Mountain Road Extension just for ingress, and then out they go.
That's my only option. I'll take anything.
I understand that. Well, sure, I understand that. It's an option, but again, there's problems with every option. So we're just trying to get as much information as possible, so that as a town board and as a town, we can come up with the best solution possible that really fits everybody's needs and wants. So. Listen, I understand your frustration. I'd be frustrated too, and hopefully we've been working on it, pulling people together with the meetings. But it's going to be a process, and we're going to do the best we can.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue to forward.
Yes. I encourage
anything that I can for clean air, for DEC, because I I can't subject myself nor my family to that. I mean, I don't even know. I would love to just like have every single, or Heidelberg run 100 trucks past your house just Saturday.
I have Callahan's in my backyard.
So they run 100 trucks or better?
No, I don't have trucks that go by, but.
But I just would like you to experience the sound, the smell, and the dust. Okay? I would just like you to experience that one time. And Keith and I will sit there on the weekends and it's like, oh, it's just like a relief to not have that. Like, oh, this is what a bird sounds like? And I know it sounds crazy and I'm going to sound crazy, but I used to have turkeys across the street from my house all the time. Well, those turkeys have migrated down the road. I haven't seen them in 2 years. Now, it's because we're being so polluted. I mean, we're being so polluted by the cement dust that's just laying in vegetation. Like, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I wish I had done the last window and brought it to you so you could see it in person. You know, that mud ball that I showed you that came off my windowsill.
I trust you.
Like, it was just mud. No, I was shocked, and I live it. But when I went like that and that conformed to mud, I was like, what in the hell are we putting in our lungs?
I agree, Mr. Earl.
It seems like,
Maybe it's soon.
let's just consolidate for a second. These are the ideas so far that I've heard. So 10 Acre Road, the project that they were going to do to 101, which you're saying is never going to happen. And we talked to Amrise and they said they're 2 to 3 years out because of permits from DEC to them and Amrise to DEC. Conveyor belt's been mentioned a few times, but that would be starting a DEC process from the very beginning, and I guess we're talking from the quarry all the way to, I forget the.
And I don't think any conveyor belt could actually hold the overburden, those big, huge rocks that are bigger than this room.
Absolutely it can.
A conveyor belt can?
Absolutely it can. Take a ride up to Callahan Quarry, you can see after they go through their crusher and it goes into about 60 different.
That rocks as big as a
There's rocks bigger than that
truck?
table.
No, bigger than, okay. All right. I must have misspoke. I didn't think it could ever go over a conveyor belt, but, okay.
And then the third idea, up Mountain Road Extension and out North Jarvis seems like the quickest fix. If they are amenable to building a conveyor belt and that process starts, I don't know how long that would take.
I think it's on
It
them.
sounds like that's how we're leading as a community.
It's on them to not hold us up. They've held us up for so long.
Right there, sit down while you're waiting. There's a chair right there, you can sit down so you're not
You know what I
there.
mean? Like, I've done this for so long, and I've done it with multiple supervisors and multiple boards. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. The party's over. Like, I mean, I can't, like, I realize, like, time and things take time, but it's done. Like, I mean, dear God, how much time do you need? You know what I mean? Like, it's over.
Okay.
You know,
There's a line for me.
I'm sure there is. Okay, thank you.
But thanks, Linda.
But I will continue to send you all of my videos. I will continue to provide DEC with all of my videos of the disgust, the health hazards that I am enduring. So, and I know there's some issues with seeing the videos, but they can always be seen in the town because they have them. But there you go. Thanks.
And Mrs. Geraldson, I will definitely respond to your emails and please accept my apologies for.
Thank you. It's just a courtesy thing because honestly, all my information comes from my Ring doorbell camera, you know, the 98, and half the time it's wonky, it's going out. So I always like to check to make sure that everybody's received them. But I mean, a normal policy would be, yes, just a simple thank you or got it, you know, and not a big deal, but you know, just something to acknowledge the fact. Because I mean, talking to Mike, he doesn't get the videos. Ron didn't get the videos. Like, things happen, right? Things happen. But unless you have that conversation, you would never know, right? That those things happen. So I just want to make sure that everybody has all the information to make decisions. You know what I mean? And nobody's left out. So, and, you know, I don't expect a reply from Steve because I call Steve Donnelly so much to just yell about, did you see the street sweeper? Like, and thinking he has a window, and I still haven't yet come to the fact that he doesn't have a window, and that street sweeper that's spewing the dust and killing me up there, he's seeing. So I don't expect him to say, I got your email. Thanks.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was long-winded, but I had to get it all out.
All right, guys, I'll be a lot quicker than that. No, we all gotta go home. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. So, my name's Jeff Goss. I've lived in the area 49 years. I now live on Star Road. I have property on Buschendorf Road. I travel Jarvis Road North every day. I see the truck traffic. I've grown up on that road. I've been riding that road since I was 16 years old, a long time ago. Okay. Used to be just a stone road, oil and stone, easy maintained. Okay. Finally, we got it blacktopped. The guys did a great job. If you run those trucks like you want to do and lift that restriction to 150, 180,000 pounds, okay, there's no base in that road. It's on bedrock in a lot of places. Okay, there's rocks that stick out. Yes, the road might be 18 feet and 50% of it, but there's a lot of areas that it's a lot less than your 18 feet that's supposed to be a 2-lane road. Fix the road. Put some money into making the road wider. There's been many times, and I travel that road and I drive like, sorry, there's some old ladies in here. I drive like an old lady on that road because the trucks come around that corner and there's nowhere to go. Okay, it's about a 50-foot embankment down into the Toolies. Okay, you're not coming out of that. School buses travel that. My son's on that school bus. That's why I'm so adamant about this. That's not the answer. You lift weight restrictions, that $130,000 or whatever it costs to blacktop that road, that'll be gone in 6 months. It'll be worse than it was before they fixed it. Okay. The conveyor belt, that will work. And it'll cost a lot less than everything else that you guys are talking about. You go up to Callanians in South Bethlehem, okay? They blast in Steve's backyard, in my backyard, okay? They take rocks out of there the size of this room. They hammer them up into chunks. You drive truck. You know what I mean? I believe you did, anyway, back in the day. But they take rocks bigger than 3 guys can get their arms around, and they go into a breaker, and it goes on these conveyor belts.
I think the conveyor cars are rated for like 20,000 pounds or something like that.
So that would be the answer. Like you said, it's only going to get bigger. This problem's only going to, you can't go down that road. I'm not saying take everything and go down where that woman lives. Okay, something has to be done, and sending it down a smaller road isn't it. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if you were here earlier, Jeff, but Heidelberg had made a proposal of possibly widening that road, making it more robust as a state road would be.
Right.
And I'm wondering, because I agree with you, the conveyor belt is the answer.
I mean, I understand it's big money, and we're talking big money that most people in this room don't understand. But
and I don't think it's a money issue. I think
they're here for a long time, which we all want, because those stone quarries are what keeps our taxes down. You take these stone quarries away and you get rid of all these trucks. Yes, nobody likes trucks, but it keeps our taxes at a lower standpoint.
Yeah.
Lafarge, Callanian, Vapcon, all those companies keep our taxes down. Now, I own a decent amount of property on from Star Road to Buschendorf. Okay, yeah, nobody likes to pay taxes, but it's not that bad. Versus if you were to get rid of those quarries, you wouldn't be able to afford to live there.
That's true.
So that's why I'm saying there has to be a fix. And like I say, the old road isn't. Yes, it's a temporary fix. Maybe they could do that until they finished a conveyor, possibly. Who knows? Technology is the sky's the limit.
I mean, it's a good question. How long, with the permits that we have to do, how long to build a conveyor belt? Obviously, that would be the perfect solution.
But the big thing is lifting that restriction is not the answer, especially on that road. You live somewhere in the area. I hear you live out somewhere by me. I'm sure you traveled it. Probably everybody in this room has traveled it.
Yeah, all the time. Buschendorf, yep.
You cannot, even basic cars you and I drive, you come into some of them corners where that house used to be, there's no way you can make 2 cars through that area. And that's regular cars. Now you're going to add a tractor trailer. It's not going to happen. It's going to end ugly. And unfortunately, hopefully it doesn't take that to fix the problem.
So what do you think, just spitballing an idea, if they are amenable to making a robust, wide road, because once again, they're a multinational company.
Right, it wouldn't cost them,
Biggest-
you got two large stone quarries right here that
Yeah.
have hammers in both places.
The biggest materials producers on the planet Earth. So they have the resources to do the road to make it as robust as 143, let's say, and as wide with shoulders and everything, blasting rock out, moving telephone
I
poles.
don't think they would spend that kind of money on a small little road,
We've
honestly.
actually
But what they could do is they can make it wide enough to where you could get 2 lanes. You don't have to make it as wide as 140.
Well, no, of course. I'm just saying.
It's a 1.5 lane road. It's not 2 lane road.
Just to spitball an idea for the residents, if the trucks are going up Mountain Road Extension empty and not pouring dust all over poor Mrs. Geraldson and coming out a robust North Jarvis
That
Road,
would cut it in half
while
instead of back and forth on each road.
they figure out how to do a conveyor belt while they're doing all the permits from DEC back and forth, I feel like that could be the most immediate solution and the most long-lasting. Once again, fan of the conveyor belt, of course, but this conversation has been going on since 2020 and before.
Right.
These ideas that we're saying, they're not brand new.
No, I understand.
Emails that I have.
You guys really haven't gotten together, to talk about this, which we're all mumbling under our breath. Why you would have this meeting if you guys really haven't got together and kind of talked about it first. Like he was saying, you want to have like a shop class or something so you can all talk about it and then bring the people in. Okay? I don't work anywhere near here. I'm an hour drive north of here where I work. So I got out of work early to come here and to give my idea. Thank you. You guys really don't have an answer.
I think your ideas are great. I think your ideas are excellent. Again, like we said, it's the feasibility of can that happen and how long will that happen? And in the meantime, what do we do until that happens?
Right. Right, like he said. You have
right.
to come up empty one way and go down. So that way it cuts it in half. So you're not back and forth on one single.
And I think that's what the people like Linda on Mountain Road Extension are saying. They've been enduring this since the weight restrictions were put on. So they've had 100 trucks go in, 100 trucks come out a day with no relief. So she's not asking for them to be off her road. They're just saying, can I cut it in half? If they take 80 trucks, at least I get 80 trucks up, and that's it. And 80 trucks go out, maybe North Jarvis or wherever else they go.
Right. I mean, North Jarvis is not just for your local community. I mean, there's people that use that road from Queeman's Hollow, Alcove. You're pretty much, we'll say, a shortcut road to get you to 396.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But Mr. Donnelly said, that's the truth. I think, at that meeting, Heidelberg was saying that road is not wide enough. We would spend the money and the effort and the time to widen it to a true 2-lane road, and we would maintain it. So if we do damage, we re-blacktop it.
Right. That would be something that should go in the contract with Stone Quarry. Say, hey, listen, you guys are the most traveled on this road. Every year, you'd have to see how long it takes before it gets screwed up and say, hey, listen, every year this needs to be fixed.
And they're amenable to that.
Not doing your deal.
And they've said we're okay with that. And that's why we're just spitballing ideas, because we want to see what the people feel, what they think, and if that's something that could be entertained.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Mrs. Millette, come on up here. I know you've been standing back there waiting. Don't fall asleep yet.
I hope Ivan's not in the car.
Getting there.
I would have brought a chair up here for you.
I guess this blank's not working.
I called a couple. That's why
It's
in the ceiling.
It's not for you to be heard.
I wrote all these questions down, but I'm not going to ask you any. Because you made a comment before about getting a road done. And this is right up my alley because my husband Ivan and I, in 2009, we live in Alcove on Deer Road. And 143 was a total disaster, clear to 32. So we talked about it and discussed it. And I looked into what it might take to do all that work. We did it. And we started out writing letters, calling New York State DOT, because 143 is State Road. And it just rolled in, right in place. And I wrote a lot of letters, I made a lot of telephone calls to senators, to everybody, Marco. Well, then we got smart and we did a petition, him and I. And we had a batch of pages and we had them all over town. And people wanted to sign them. We had over 500 signatures on the petition, which went to New York State DOT, whatever his name was at the time. So I got a one or two letters from Tonko. It's not my favorite. But anyway, wrote me a letter and said that year, 2009, there was no more money appropriated for any more road work. Boom. So I don't take no for an answer easily. And I happened to see on Facebook, I happened to see a picture of him in Troy, standing on Troy, whatever big building it was, commenting about the money he was going to put into that building for Troy, the city of Troy, that year. Meanwhile, they were over on Delaware Ave, paving that like the second year in a row, the same area. So I didn't let any of that go, my husband either. So I took a picture of him standing on the steps, one of his picture things, and wrote him a letter again. And I told him how we did the petition. We had over 500 signatures, and they're all voters here in this town. So, pushed them a little. The next week, 2 weeks later, we come out 32 to Alcove, and there's signs up on 143 as you turn on it. Construction starting on whatever date, the next 9 miles. We only asked for 5 miles. They took it to the foot of Martin's Hill. And and then we come down to Clemens Hollow, and it was a Sunday, and the state was dropping off big equipment, big rollers, big whatever. And we knew we were being kidded. So anyway, they started it and did it. They did a fine job on it. And that's 9 years, or in 2009 that was. So what's that? Quite a few years, 16 years, I think, that road's been good. At the time that we did the petition and everything, bus drivers were happy as clams because they were willing to sign it. They brought the kids up over Osterhout Hill. If you live out there, you know where I'm talking about, with big holes in that road. And the kids would bounce. I don't know if they have belts or not, but they probably don't wear them. But anyway, so they were only too happy to sign. And they brought people to other people. Word of mouth gets around. So anyway, we were successful in doing that. And I have all those papers and our everything that went with it. I have a big file of it. I don't throw those things out. And it was successful. We were very proud of that. Now, if this thing changes and you're going to come out Tompkins Road past Sycamore, is that what it sounds like? You're going to take trucks from up on the hill?
They have an entrance and an exit at the end of North Jarvis Road, and another one at the Mountain Road extension that turns into Limekill.
Yeah, I know where that is. But the one that's going to Buschendorf, I know that's why these people are here. They don't want it, and I don't blame them. Will come down 143. They'll come out past Sycamore, or they'll go down.
No, I think you're thinking of South Jarvis Road. There's only
grandchildren.
It's not going down. Nothing's going down. Sorry to interrupt you. Nothing's going down Buschendorf. It's North Jarvis. Buschendorf is here. North Jarvis goes like this. So they'd stay, on North Jarvis all the way down till they get to 101, essentially.
The road behind the school.
The road behind the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you think that they're gonna come out the quarry and take a left on Buschendorf and then go to the golf course maybe. That's not what this is in discussion about.
So there won't be a 143 at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, no.
You can't guarantee that.
Well,
Yeah, there
right.
are heavy trucks on 143. We see them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, equipment does go out, and I talked to the residents on South Jarvis, and there are occasions when very large pieces of equipment go up South Jarvis. Even though there's a road restriction, it says local, except for local delivery, which I think is
What's the weight on that road,
A ton.
Not much, is it? But that's not much of a road. I
Right.
mean, Danny's got it, he's got all the roads in great shape. But, anyway, that's doable, but you have to have people that are noisy and wanna do this kind of stuff. You know, I typed it all out on my own computer at home, copied all the letters and whatever. And it became a success. And the road's pretty good yet, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll sit down.
No, I don't need that.
I do.
You'll probably be hitting me with it.
Mike.
Hello, board. My name is Keith Jarrelson. I live at 187 Fuller Road. Just wanted to mention, just like, none of us all want the truck traffic. The conveyor belt is the best option. It's less impact on the village, the roads and stuff like that. But is there any way we could put some kind of a restriction like, hey, you can't haul any overburden out until you start a project? Because right now, they've been just stalling us for the last 5 years. Why can't we put something to say, hey, you can't haul any more out until you start a project? Either do the conveyor or do the road. You can't haul any more product out because the product is overburdened. That's the same stuff they used to run over the conveyor belt and put out across from the school. Same thing they're doing up there now, but the only thing is they don't have the property because of the modernization of the plant and everything. But if we could put some kind of restrictions where they can't haul any move any overburden until they start a project where they're gonna start doing something. Because they're just gonna drag it out, because all we're doing is hearing lip service from all of them. I mean, it's no good to you guys and everything. You come back and tell us the same thing we've been hearing for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I like your feet to the flame approach.
We gotta put some kind of restriction where they can't do anything until they start doing something to make this better.
I agree. It should be something with, whatever we decide, finite timelines, contractual.
It's gotta be something, because right now, they're just saying stuff and then they just keep doing. Because I can tell you right now, the last 2 days, they've run more trucks in the last 2 days than they have in a long time. I mean, 5 trucks back and back. They're standing there at the red light, making the turn. One truck made a turn, and then everybody had to wait for another light. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous, and it's no, you guys are doing the best thing you can, but we just need to put some restrictions and get them to stop until they start making a move. Even with DEC, with the whatever animals were disturbing or whatever, the conveyor belt. They can't use the conveyor belt they got because that's strictly for what Lafarge uses. And it doesn't have the old stuff because they tore all that old stuff down. So now they need to do a whole new one right down and get out of it. Have it down on the 144 side so they can just go up 144, get on the thruway or whatever. They shouldn't come through the village at all. Should all get off at 20-2 and come into the Queemans. And that should be a restriction by the state, Nobody comes up and gets off at 21 at Coxsackie and comes up and comes down Main Street or comes through New Baltimore on that real sharp turn down there by the church. They're on the wrong side of the road there. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't be. They should all go to, the state should either do it at exit off the thruway or they get off at Selkirk and come in the Queemans that way. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for sticking around to hear everyone talk. My name is Rick Robertson. I live at 126 Buschendorf Road. And I think that what I would love to get everyone here in the audience and the board as well, I think we can all agree Jarvis Road North was never designed for tractor trailers. Can we all nod our heads and say that is true?
That's true.
Perfect. It is not a money issue for me. I don't care if we have to repave that road every year. It is purely a safety issue. That road is not wide enough. There are too many corners. It is extremely unsafe with 2 cars, let alone a car and a tractor trailer full of rocks. It is only by the grace of God when those trucks were running and destroying the road over the last several years that there wasn't an accident and someone was killed. If we are going to have 80 trucks a day running on that road as it is, someone will be in an accident and someone will get killed. I have brought my young driver with me. I am scared when I drive on Jarvis Road North by myself that you're going to come around a corner and you're going to it's going to be a pickup truck or an SUV or something like that. We can't have tractor trailers on that road. If we widen that road to 24 feet, it's a completely different story. We take out some of the curves, it can be done, but until that is done, lifting the weight restriction on Jarvis Road North is asking for someone to be in an accident and God forbid someone to be killed. So I appreciate everyone listening.
I appreciate you speaking, and maybe it was social media firestorm. I'm sure once word got out that anything was to be talked about North Jarvis, but I can assure you, nobody on this board, any of us, thinks that the road that sits right now as North Jarvis is safe for any 18-wheeler truck going down it. It would only be. Like Mr. Donnelly said, if there was a road maintenance agreement where Heidelberg agreed to widen the road, they take over control of the maintenance every year of it, they repave it, they plow, whatever it might be, but they take full control of the maintenance of that road and makes it safe, puts the lines down, makes it wider. There's nobody on this board that would ever say right now, let's bring trucks down North Jarvis. Because you're right, it's not safe.
And Mr. Scott, I don't come to board meetings very often. I hope no one's offended that,
absolutely not.
People don't come. I sat here tonight and I listened to a resolution that said they were introducing a law that was going to remove the weight restrictions on Jarvis Road North. That to me sounds like there was action that was going to happen. If you had said, we're going to have a public meeting to talk about solutions for the truck problem throughout the village and the town, would have been much more settling for people. But when I sit here and a resolution passed, because you voted on it, that there was a law to remove the weight restriction, that seems concerning to me.
Well, thankfully, the resolution only said that we're having a public hearing on it.
Right.
And that was my concern that I voiced when we had read that resolution, is that we were putting the cart before the horse. There should have been legwork done first before the local law was drafted. There
is no local law that would remove the weight restriction on Jarvis Road.
There's a draft version of it.
Absolutely.
Again, I don't agree how it came out, because I think this is what should have happened first, and a highway superintendent should have been involved first.
And at the closing of that public hearing, this board can take a vote if they so please.
If they so choose, after that public hearing.
That's why I was not in favor of proceeding with a local law until we had more discussion behind the scenes at a workshop, and then potentially more conversation with the public. But I got outvoted, so.
I'm just saying that for someone who doesn't come to these meetings very often, it's very concerning to me that that law has been drafted. There's going to be a public hearing on that law, and that potentially the board can act on that law at the end of that public hearing.
I agree.
Well, like Mr. Stott said, nobody's entertaining the idea of running trucks down the road as it sits right now.
So you would not vote for that law until that road is widened?
No,
absolutely not.
There is also
I appreciate you putting that on the record.
Yeah,
I agree.
There was also a road maintenance agreement drafted. These are just drafts of things that we can have a conversation about and not do it behind the scenes.
Okay.
I have this as clear and transparent as possible.
I think hearing the board as it sits right now, saying that they would not pass a law that would remove that weight restriction until that road is widened, makes me feel a lot better. I don't want to speak for other folks that live on Buschendorf Road, but I would hope to make them feel better as well.
We shouldn't be in this, we shouldn't be even doing this then.
So my question would be then, at least to the members here who have now stated that they said they wouldn't vote for the law as it is, why are we actually having a public hearing?
That's right.
We should have a public hearing about possible solutions. Why are we having a public hearing where, at the conclusion of that public hearing, should a member of this board introduce a motion to pass that local law, it can have a vote. And I think that we shouldn't have the local law to talk about. I think we should have a public hearing. We should have good public discussion here, and we shouldn't even be voting on any local laws right now regarding this. We should have discussion, solutions, and bringing those players to the table here at those public hearings, including all the players at the businesses, our highway superintendent, board members, attorneys, most importantly, you guys to come here like you are tonight. And again, I think we're boxing ourselves into a position where we're going to put ourselves in a position where we potentially could vote for a local law. And again, I think we put the cart before the horse. That's my opinion.
And just for clarity, the highway superintendent did get an invitation to come here tonight so that he could give us his expertise, but he's not here.
But I'm glad that at least all the members here voiced their opinion that they would not vote for this local law, so.
But Donnelly, we don't need an expert to know that that road's not safe for tractor trailers.
Well, it'd just be nice
We all agreed.
to have an elected official here, especially the highway superintendent. He's going to be an integral part of the road maintenance agreement. He's going to have lots of power in the discussions there because that's his statutory responsibility as the roads, especially our road. It's just not.
Can I piggyback on
Great,
that?
thank you so much.
Can I piggyback on that?
Sure.
If the highway superintendent and so is important, and my name is Tracy Traber, I live on Buschendorf Road, by the way.
You can stand up here. Come on up.
If he's so important, well, it doesn't really matter. If he's so important, why didn't you invite him to the meeting that you had with the multi-million companies?
So once again, and this will be the third time because Steve asked the question and Ron asked the question.
Yeah, I don't hear everything back there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy, is it?
That's my name.
Tracy Traber. So my responsibility is to pull the meetings together. I have a responsibility to the residents' safety. I have a responsibility to have these meetings and then bring that to the highway superintendent for him to come into the conversation. Then his presence would have probably been superfluous at that one. We were just there discussing the possibility of cooperation.
Well, it sounds to me like you have a plan.
The town, the village, and the industry. We sat down at a table at the village and we said, is everybody amenable to discussing a plan moving forward? And basically the answer was
You have a bill proposed. You have a law proposed to change the restriction on Buschendorf or on Jarvis Road.
correct. We discussed that.
That's a little bit more than just a discussion.
That's for the public hearing. We've
That's for the
discussed
public.
it.
You left out the major. Wow, 6-7. Holy 6-7.
Right, and everyone has said that they would not vote for that.
Holy 6-7. So why do you even have it if none of you would vote for it? What have you done to change the safety? Whoa. Whoa. Jarvis, North Jarvis has a weight limit on it now because it's unsafe for the big trucks or even the smaller trucks that have blacktop. What have you done to the road to make it safer, to propose a law to remove the weight limit? What have you done to the road to make it safer, to even consider removing the weight restriction?
There is no road maintenance.
We have a road maintenance.
It's a proposed.
So far, we just have 3 drafts. A road maintenance agreement, a proposal to have trucks go in mountain, up mountain, in out North Jarvis, or just simply.
How can you propose a law to change the weight restriction on a road when you haven't changed anything to make it safer for that particular vehicle to be on the road?
In order to have consideration to the industries that we're talking to, so that they know that we're serious.
In consideration to me.
That's what
And
we're,
the taxpayers.
that's what this is.
That's my road.
Right, that's what this is.
That's my road, but I'm after the fact.
No, this is.
We're after the fact.
This is the exact moment of conversation, and then we're followed up on the public hearing on the 23rd. So I hope you come there too, and I hope there's more.
Have a law already. Where is that law? Can we have a copy of it?
You're talking about when they.
You're proposed. You're proposed.
Yes, it's available. We just.
Tracy, what is the weight limit now?
8 tons.
8 tons.
What is it?
8 tons.
What was it before the
Yes,
restriction?
changed to before, somebody said 8.
Probably
8
wasn't.
tons. Are you considering putting weight limits on Buschendorf Road?
There are weight limits on Buschendorf Road, 8 tons.
No, there's not. There's not, there's not a there's not a sign.
Really? There is?
Well, I have calls from residents that say we live on Buschendorf and there's trucks that are running on there. As a matter of fact,
Yes, me.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I sent you that letter. Yes, my husband and I sent you a letter.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to know, is there a weight restriction on Buschendorf Road?
To my understanding, there is, going by the
What is it?
residents, I believe it's 8 tons.
I don't want to believe, I want to know.
If it was anything of the anybody, you'd have to look at Star Roads.
See, this would be a perfect time for the highway superintendent to be here. He could answer this question.
Can I just interject?
Sure.
Come on in.
No, I just think that's really good. Dan's not here to defend himself.
Yeah.
No, it would be a perfect time for him to answer this question.
But it's not fair to call someone out for not being
No.
here.
True.
I mean, it's really not me to say, but I believe he has a special function for his family, not that it's anyone's business,
That's fine.
but it shouldn't be called out that he's not here.
Okay. Thank you, Trish.
Miss,
My other question that I have, my other concern that I have, now that I've come down here and see how this 6-7, how incompetent this meeting is run. Why? Why? Any one of you 5, and I'd like from all of you.
Lack of
Why?
leadership.
No, why don't you have a microphone sitting in front of you with today's technology and the amount of money?
It's up in there.
she's saying
Really?
for the crowd, right?
I'm talking for the crowd and the people on TV. I try watching you on TV, I can hear you. Blah, 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 blah. This is what you hear when you're on TV.
Yeah.
When I sit in the back room, I can't hear you. I want to hear what you say. Each and every one of you. All the time. Not just on something that concerns my road, but everything. Because everything that you say, everything that you vote on affects my town. Affects me. I can't hear you. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. Because where is your microphone? And don't tell me it's up there because I can't hear you. Do you not have a microphone to put on the table? Are we that poor in this town that we can't afford one? Because I know you're talking hundreds of $1,000s for high tech in the new buildings.
We'll talk with our IT guy to see if he can turn up the volume on the microphones.
Why can't you have one on the tables?
We did have them at one time, and they didn't work properly all the time. And that's why they put it there.
My recollection is, and I don't do IT, but that there is a microphone in the camera. If this one is on, it makes that one even less effective. And so what they've done is turn that one off so that that one is on. If there's a better sort of way to approach it, I'm sure the board will look into it. This is the first time I've heard at a meeting that the folks watching remotely.
I'm sorry, who are
can't-
you?
I'm the town attorney. Okay, this is the first time I've heard at a meeting that people watching the video have not been able to hear, so if that's.
I heard perfectly fine in the back, so
Okay.
maybe.
If that's an issue though, I'm sure the
Yeah,
town
we
board will take a look.
We can look at it, yeah.
Just to say.
Well, for those of us who are hard of hearing, I would back her up. We do need people at the back who can hear. Some kind of way of, if you guys could just talk to the back of the room, that would help.
I try.
Yeah, all of
We can
you.
hear you.
So that's why I'm always sitting here in front, because, I don't have any hearing aids yet, so what can I do?
I'm not hard of hearing and I can't hear them.
Yeah, so but they also speak, so I think, take some elocution lessons, talk to the back of the room, please. All of you.
When I was here, we had the ones on the table in front of each person.
Yeah.
One on the podium. And it worked fine. I don't know, were they here when you came? No?
No, they haven't been here for a long time.
Can I get a copy of the draft laws that you have and the draft, everything, the 3 of them or 4 of them, however many there are, Mr. Donnelly?
Yes.
You can email them to me. I think the
You
community.
do have your
might-
email,
Yes,
yeah.
you do. Well, yes, you do have my host, yes. And if you can give it to the community somehow on whatever public forum or social media this place happens to have, I don't know.
Office resolutions for residents.
Do we have one or not?
I can get on YouTube.
Email them tomorrow.
Sure,
Can we do that?
absolutely.
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Diana Abadi, and I live in Athens, and I'm a retired health services researcher and monitor overseer of clinical trials, and now I'm a citizen scientist working on health issues that have to do with different communities in the Capital District region.
Excuse me, we can't hear you.
You're kidding. I'm so sorry. So anyway, the reason I wanted to speak tonight is that, there are a number of issues that have been brought up, foremost injury, prevention of injuries, what's known in public health, unintentional injuries. But I want to talk about very briefly 2 issues related to heavy-duty truck, particularly diesel truck traffic. And those 2 issues are particulate matter, and the dust you breathe comes in different sizes, anywhere from 0, it's usually measured, to 10 microns, and anything 4 microns and smaller can go down deep into the lungs. And then the second thing that's really important is diesel fuel emissions, which is known as black carbon or soot. So both the PM, particulate matter 2.5, and the diesel fume particles are both carcinogens. And so when you talk about, whatever decision you decide to make, I think it's important that for the whole community, you keep in mind that these air pollution, and you can't see, the smaller dust particles, and they're usually from 3 to 6 feet off of the ground. I think to mitigate things, right now, maybe if you could look at making sure that idling, New York State has idling laws. I think the weight is 8,500 pounds. So anything 8,500 pounds and over are supposed to, be regulated by the New York State's idling laws, which says that you can't idle for more than 5 minutes. But then, of course, there are exceptions, right? If you're stuck in traffic, like if you're at that stoplight, where today, coming back from Cohoes, I think I sat there for 7 minutes, and I counted it because, the light would change. I was so far back, and these trucks were idling for that period, a long period of time, or longer than 5 minutes in one case anyway. So that's one thing you can possibly try to enforce, but the exceptions are, which I'm not an attorney, I couldn't figure it out is that if you're waiting in traffic, so maybe that doesn't apply. And I know that some people here are experiencing diesel trucks idling very close to their property because there's probably no waiting area, up by the quarry for them to be there. So the other thing has to do with EPA has regulations, and I'm not going to go through them, but the major ones aren't supposed to start until 2027. But looking at making sure that the trucks, if you can follow those regulations. And this is a big problem for ports. You can look at the scientific literature and you can read about the Port of California, and other port cities, and they have this problem with heavy trucks. And so I'm just saying that there may be some things that you can do right now to try to improve things until there's a plan. And I know routes from reading so many DEC proposals. Truck routes are suggested. People don't always abide by them. So I don't know if there's a way to, add teeth to whatever routes that you decide or not. So thank you. I just wanted to point out the health consequences with regard to pollution from heavy-duty trucks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron, I know you had made a comment and made sure that everybody knew that nobody on the board was going to vote for that law or proposed law. So I think your public hearing might want to now include a weight limit on Mountain Road extension. If you're not nobody's going to vote on taking the weight limit off of Jarvis, then you probably should discuss putting a weight limit on Mountain Road extension.
Well, does it have one?
Doesn't have one.
That's the question.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm positive. And actually, I think only Jarvis, north and south, have them.
Linda, I will tell you.
I think that local law number 10 was only Jarvis north and south.
This is what I'll say. Again, as we had discussion earlier about another resolution, if this was done in a manner where this board could have got together with some type of workshop, got together post-meeting, included all the players, had reasonable discussion, and had all these different options on the table to listen to everybody, we could have formulated probably a better,
That's neither here nor there, but
No,
that's
no,
my only option, right? My only option.
What I'm saying is, I
98
agree with you.
trucks off my road.
All things are on the table.
That's the
And
only option, to be fair.
I'm just upset, again, I feel that our process of how we're doing this now is backwards.
Well, the whole process has been backwards because it should have never been a local law to begin with. Okay? I mean, that's
I wasn't on the
not
board
fair
then, so.
to any community to take 3 roads and put them down to 1. That's not fair. That should have never happened anyway. And for whatever reason, whether it was because it was 6 miles to travel from the quarry down to the port and not 10, and we all know money's money, trucks is trucks. I mean, run 98, you know how many loads you can do in an additional, less mileage? I don't know what the thought process was. It happened at the point where the acquisition was happening. So the acquisition happened in July of 23. Local law 10 went in July of 23. Coincidence? Okay. I don't know the ins and outs because I didn't sit here. I didn't partake in it. I wasn't privy to all the information, but what I am privy to is stated 3 times, nobody on this board is going to vote for putting or taking the weight limit off Jarvis. So then you probably should talk about putting a weight limit on Mountain Road. Now, what does that mean? I guess, oh well, nobody does business. Because as far as being in a community and we have to withstand everything as a community, that doesn't mean one area gets bombarded. No. Otherwise, I'll come in and I'll sit with you and you can tell me how low my taxes are going to live in an industrial road. Okay? That's what you can tell me. No, I mean, I hate the fact that I'm just pushing this situation to another area, but I have no recourse. I also want to take the blunt and spread it through the community. I mean, we're all benefiting from what AMRAS gives us as a community. We all need to take on the bad too until there is a plan that makes us all happy. And, you know, that I don't think I'm being unfair. I've never once said, oh, that business has got to get out of here. No, that business needs to be here, but they need to know how to do clean business. Okay? These are billion-dollar companies. I've looked them up. I've read on them. Okay? I know when acquisitions happened. I know that I have done so much research on these billion-dollar companies, and they're all blowing smoke up our butt. Because if you think for 1 second they don't know how to fix this problem, you're wrong. They didn't get to where they were by not being able to fix this problem. They're just seeing how far they can go. Okay? And that's what it amounts to. I'm sorry, but I also live in this community, 29 years, raised 3 kids here. Don't know why my son's up there coaching football, you know, for Ravena when he lives in Bethlehem. But we are a big part of this community. And to be said, oh no, sorry, you know, you just keep the traffic on your road because nobody wants to take the weight limit off of that road. No, that's not fair. And I feel bad for all of these people, trust me. I do. But as a community, we need to split this as a whole. Sorry, guys. We need to split this as a whole. You know, and I can't say any more than that other than the unfairness, and that was my words to George, was the unfairness of this. And he sat there right where Steve said and said, Linda didn't say she doesn't want trucks on her road. Because I respect business. But I'm going to say right here to all of you, I don't want trucks on my road. Okay, if that's the words that you need to hear, that's the words I'm going to tell you. I don't want trucks on my road. I don't want my grandson out there being bombarded with smoke and disgust from street sweepers. Like if you're going to sit here and tell me nobody on this board is going to vote to take that weight limit off, then you need to sit there and you need to make a weight limit for my road. Don't discriminate against me. Nope. Don't discriminate against us. We're all equal in this town. Sorry. Whether we like it or not. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'd like to ask another question. I just want to say thank you guys for your time. It's been an awesome job. My pillow's calling my name. I've been up since 3.
Same here.
Thanks, Jeff.
I don't get to come to these because I work till 7 o'clock at night in Waterville 8. So it's tough for me to get here for 6 o'clock. So, but I appreciate you guys trying to do something.
Thank you for your ideas. They're good ideas.
I know it's not the answer, but right now we all don't want this, but unfortunately, I just don't want to see somebody get hurt. Like I said, I travel that road every day, and it's not pretty. Like I said, you said it's 8 tons is the weight limit for that road, correct? Is that somebody said that today?
North Jarvis, did we ever figure out Buschendorf? Does anybody know that?
No, I don't
Currently
think there's
north.
any Buschendorf, but
It's currently north and south Jarvis.
So
and
if it's 8 ton.
8 ton.
okay? Those trucks that are traveling it right now are illegal because they're way over 8 ton. Empty. 70,000 pounds full for a triaxle. 110, 120,000 for a tractor trailer. And a 4-axle trailer, you're looking at 178, 180,000 pounds. So
I'd
those
agree.
are the numbers. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have trucking outfits, drove truck for years. It's like people that cut one off. You think you can stop on a dime. It doesn't work that way. Same thing with the road. You put 180,000 pounds on that road. It's not going to be pretty. I know you guys are trying. I mean, we're just out here. We're just voicing our opinions. I know you guys are going to do what you can. I appreciate that, but like I said, I don't get to get down to these meetings too often. So,
Well, we appreciate that you came, Jeff. Thanks.
yeah, just I don't get to see anybody. And I live on a county road, right, which is terrible. Okay, I've called multiple times to have it cleaned up. You go down your side roads, beautiful. Bushendorf. Winter time. Roads are maintained great, but us out there in the county, it's not. So you guys are doing a good job. I will give you that. And I appreciate you all working together, trying to come up with an answer. It's gonna be hell. I don't want to be in your shoes. So, well, good night. Good night.
Thank you.
When I was town clerk here, all those documents were in my office. And there always was a town of Queens road list. And I think it may have had, I would hope by now, I'm going 25 years, a new one or something updated. And I think it had, maybe like these limits or the widths, whatever the road, Danny would know for sure. He's probably got copies out there too. Like I said, I'm going 25 years, but I always had that in my office.
Yeah, he has a road list. He sent one to me. I asked for it last year.
I can't hear you.
He does have a road list. He sent one to me last year. I requested one just so I could start learning what roads that, this was at the beginning. But it exists.
Yeah, okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, any further public comment? Going once, going twice.
Just close it.
Hey, yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Linda, we have to scrape you off.